But I'm definitely excited for this one because a lot of people, I've read comments.
Be hyping it up.
Y'all are saying that the Granola arc is better than Morrow, and I put Morrow as the best arc in Dragon Ball Super. It's extremely close to Dragon Ball Z type of writing, fighting, everything there.
This video.
Sign up.
Takes place after the events of the battle with Morrow. Peace returns to the universe as Jocko, relaxing, is informed by Calamus that he should be on patrol. Believing his time is better spent on the computer though, Jocko is pulled aside by Calamus to visit the galactic prison. Arriving at the lockup housing the survivors of the Galactic Bandit Brigade, Calamus questions Yunba about a faint distress signal emanating from the Earth's crater following Morrow's defeat. Unfortunately, Yunba isn't privy to any information on the matter, and instead changes the subject, asking for more food. Jocko, exclaiming that the bandits will never enjoy the pleasures of endless food and daylight again, is interrupted by Zayogi, who criticizes the Galactic Patrol for killing their friends. Calamus tells Zayogi that Morrow is to blame for the death of their comrades, and Jocko states that he literally devoured OG-73. However, Zayogi claims he wasn't talking about 7-3, and goes on to say he was just another thing that they stole, filled with valuable data until his destruction, ruining all the hard work they put into making him a powerhouse. Back on Earth, a tiny piece of the decimated 7-3 begins to move around, as Yunba, curious about the life form's fate, queries whether the entity has
Is 7-3 coming back? Is that what we're doing?
But he was
truly been obliterated. Jocko, assuming so due to the absence of Morrow's remnants, deems it best not to waste their time going back to check, prompting Yunba to smirk, realizing the Galactic Patrol is unsure. We then witness a piece of 7-3 lodging itself into the remnants of the head left in the crater on Earth, and a light emanates from it, signaling a return to life. Back at the Galactic prison, Calamus brushes off the taunts of the bandits, but later questions Jocko on if he actually examined inside the crater. Having given a not so reassuring answer though, the duo head off to Earth's crater in an attempt to locate any remnants of 7-3. Arriving on Earth, Jocko confirms there are no traces of the life form, but unbeknownst to them, two aliens remain in hiding behind a rock, clutching 7-3's head in a container. Subsequently, Jocko and Calamus take off, as do the two aliens undetected. Several months later, in a corner of the universe far away from Earth, an attendant informs their master Goichi that 7-3's data has been replicated across all their units. Previously stolen by Saganbo and his brigade,
He's gonna make a 7-3 army.
7-3 has now been retrieved in a more formidable state, and overjoyed, Goichi sees this as an opportunity to assert his dominance over the universe. At that moment, a man named Granola, receiving assistance from his AI headwear named Oatmeal, rapidly approaches and boards Goichi's ship. Skillfully using his weaponry, Granola dispatches the guards sent to intercept him.
He's
in
tweaking.
Response, Goichi commands
wait. Okay,
that's Granola. So this is his heart.
Granola. The other one is Oatmeal.
Yes, bro. This guy's badass. I like his design. What the fuck? He looks like.
Go ahead.
Oh, he looks like a Dragon Quest character. That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, I was gonna say he looks like.
What does he look like to you?
He looks like a Saiyan.
Like a Saiyan, right?
Yeah,
that too. Holy shit, Texas Ranger. Thank you for the 5, bro. Appreciate you. Chrono Trigger ass look. Yeah, no, he does look like a Chrono Trigger character too.
It a little bit, just to that part where they introduce him. Right. Yeah, right there.
Is that an oatmeal ship? Correct, Granola. But be careful because there could be many on board.
Okay.
Rapidly approaches and boards Goichi's ship. Skillfully using his weaponry, Granola dispatches the guards sent to intercept him. In response, Goichi commands the release of their units, the OG soldiers, to halt Granola. As Granola enters a room, he's surrounded by the OG soldiers, all resembling the original 7-3. Granola tells Oatmeal to run a scan to identify the original, and suddenly, one of the soldiers attack. Granola, however, swiftly destroys it, shattering the crystal on its head. The remaining OG soldiers charge in next, and identifying them all as unintended targets, Granola wipes them out with ease. Upon entering another room, more OG soldiers are released, but Granola discovers his target, OG-73I, otherwise known as the original 7-3. We soon cut to a flashback of a planet decimated by the Saiyan race, the inhabitants' lifeless bodies spread across the streets, appearing similar to Granola. Fleeing from numerous Ozaru, a child...
Hold on.
What?
Appearing similar. They said Saiyan.
The Saiyan. So
is he a Saiyan?
He's not a Saiyan. No, the Saiyans went into his planet, invaded, killed everyone there. That's literally what is happening. Oh, we're getting into this territory. Hold on. I had to take off my glasses for this. Hold on. This shit is cooking right now.
But is confronted by a great ape with a distinctive cross-shaped scar as it crashes through the damage.
Scar.
What?
Scar. Is that what's his name? Bardock?
Startled awake within
Bardock
the
is the only one we
spaceship,
know with a scar on his face.
Granolah, who is dreaming having recently acquired 7-3, continues to fly off, informed by Oatmeal that they aren't being followed. En route to the base of the Heaters, Oatmeal questions Granola's lingering animosity towards the now diminished Frieza force, pointing out that Frieza has been dead for years and the force is but a shadow of its former self.
right.
Granolah, however,
Sure.
reveals that his resentment stems from the Saiyans who annihilated his race known as the Ceruleans, emphasizing that the Saiyan race met its end due to a meteor destroying their homeworld, depriving him of the chance for revenge. Meanwhile, on Beerus' planet, Goku secures the Oracle
Revenge story
Fish,
coming
allowing Whis to administer sleep-inducing vitamins to counter his insomnia.
start.
Vegeta questions if the fish can really suffer from a lack of sleep, and Whis explains that the Oracle Fish's sleep troubles could mean a bad omen for the future or merely a benign occurrence. Disappointed, Goku states he thought someone strong was going to appear again, and hearing this, Beerus wakes up from his nap, yelling at Goku for his addiction to fighting, as he always ends up dragging him in the middle of it. Post this, Goku and Whis resume their training, with Goku seamlessly entering the perfected Ultra Instinct state at will. Ready to get things started, Goku leaps high above Whis, splitting himself into multiple illusions to attack. Whis, however, dispatches the illusions with ease, meets Goku high above, and kicks him back down to the surface, telling the Saiyan to develop
Whis is
his
just
own
way too
style
powerful.
as the two continue. Observing from the sidelines, Vegeta questions Beerus about Whis' use of Ultra Instinct, to which Beerus clarifies that angels are always in the instinct state. As Whis continues sparring with Goku, he conveys that mastering Ultra
Is that why his hair?
I was just
that
thinking that.
color?
Yep. Always in that
That
state.
would make sense because maybe that's why his hair is
White,
white, grayish. Yeah.
Interesting
instinct
stuff
is
here.
only the beginning and mentions a hierarchy of control, with the Grand Priest surpassing both he and Beerus in mastery. This prompts Goku to question his status at the bottom of the ladder, to which Whis states that he has more room to train and grow, heightening Goku's enthusiasm.
Oh, this shit's
Questioned
great.
by Beerus if he intends to master Ultra Instinct, Vegeta declines, opting to surpass Goku another way. Beerus states it might be possible and hints to an alternative path for growth, emphasizing that Ultra Instinct isn't the only technique of the gods.
Really?
This revelation shocks Vegeta as Beerus continues, noting that Ultra Instinct is the specialty of the angels, and that gods of destruction use a different technique, refraining from having to keep their hearts calm. Vegeta inquires if Beerus will teach him this technique, but he refuses, noting that training people isn't in his job description. Walking off to exercise though, he turns to Vegeta, encouraging him to seize any opportunity for improvement, as the Saiyan follows close behind. Elsewhere in the universe, Granola arrives at the Heaters base, dragging OG-73 along. He encounters Soshiru, a fellow bounty hunter, who, upset with his own earnings, marvels at the artificial life form that Granola managed to obtain. He proposes pretending as if they captured 7-3 together and split the bounty, but before he can lay a hand on the glass tube, Granola intervenes, threatening Soshiru's life if he makes another move and proceeds
pointing the
inside.
finger guns at
Within,
him.
the leader of the Heaters, Elec, accompanied by 3 other Heaters, greets Granola as he hands over the bounty. After receiving payment, Granola inquires about Elec's plans for 7-3. Elec dismisses the notion of building an army, but expresses the desire to gather intel, believing information dominance grants control over the universe. Expressing little interest in the
This arc is
conversation,
cooking.
Elec informs Granola that there are no more assignments for now and drops a bombshell, revealing Frieza's revival. This revelation shocks Granola, as Elec states that regardless of how he's returned, potential business partners are running scared throughout the universe, making it impossible to make deals.
It's
Driven
bad
by
for
the
business.
prospect of revenge, Granola demands Frieza's whereabouts. Despite Elec warning about Frieza's enhanced power since his return, Granola persists.
Golden Frieza.
Suddenly, one of the Heaters identified as Gas intervenes, knocking Granola down and restraining him. Elec emphasizes the need for careful planning before confronting Frieza, and Granola reluctantly agrees to wait as Gas lets him go. Calmly rising, Granola tells Elec to inform him when there are more jobs to do and leaves, subsequently vowing that
Granola's a
Frieza will
bounty hunter.
die by his hands. Departing, Elec discusses with his family the potential
Chat, Granola stands no fucking chance against Frieza. Let's be completely honest here. He will get absolutely bodied.
You don't know that.
Go up against
You
him.
don't
I dare
know
him.
that though, and I love Frieza. You
Frieza,
don't know that.
Golden Frieza will mop this
But we
kid.
haven't even seen
Well,
his capabilities.
I'm just saying.
Threat Granola poses if he surpasses Gas, their family's strongest member. Though Gas is confident in his own power, Elec plans to use Frieza to eliminate Granola and focuses his attention on 7-3 to locate Zuno, the ultimate source of intel. Returning to his home, planet Cereal, Granola faces an ambush by
Planet
Soshiru
Cereal.
and his men for his bounty. He decides to settle their battle on a nearby asteroid, and everyone lands. Soshiru and his men prepare to rob Granola blind. Agreeing to share half of his payment, Granola invites the group onto his spaceship. Once aboard, Soshiru's group realizes they've been deceived, and Granola begins eliminating them with precise sniping, courtesy
dumb
of
as
his
shit.
cerulean sharpshooting skills in right eye, specifically adapted to situations such as these. Realizing his impending defeat, Soshiru
sick.
surrenders, leaving behind some payment before retreating. Oatmeal commends Granola's work, but the cerulean acknowledges that he missed one of his targets and needs more power to take down Frieza. Back on Beerus' planet, the sleeping oracle fish cryptically mentions a shift in the balance of Universe 7, predicting the rise of the universe's mightiest warrior. Granola returns to his home planet, now inhabited by
they
an
getting
alien
serious.
race called the Shigurians, who embrace him as one of their own. However, Granola rejects the notion of living in their city, believing that the way the planet is now, it wouldn't suit him or the old man he's living with. Instead, they choose to reside in the mountains, and Granola makes his way back home. During his walk, Oatmeal questions why Granola won't take the Shigurians up on their offer, and the Cerulean notes that the city was set up by the Shigurians by the Heaters, as he reflects on the downfall of his people 40 years ago. Standing atop the mountain, Granola peers down at the ruins of his hometown as a reminder of the devastation brought on by the Saiyans and Frieza, noting that he'll never forget what they took from him. Simultaneously on Beerus' planet, Beerus questions Vegeta about the destructive history of the Saiyan race. Vegeta notes there's no way of knowing
love
how many
this.
planets they destroyed in the past, given fighting was once a way of life for his people and refers to it as a sin. Beerus then questions if Vegeta's attempting to pin all of the blame for his once wicked ways on Frieza and his people, but Vegeta denies this, stating that in his father's pursuit of power, he built planet Vegeta atop countless deaths. He goes on to say that Frieza's clan taking over didn't help things much, but the blood spilled by the Saiyans beforehand was still on their hands. Beerus inquires if Vegeta means to say that it was destiny for the Saiyans to be wiped out, and Vegeta confirms, prompting dismissal from Beerus. Beerus then confronts Vegeta, exclaiming how ridiculous that thought process is. Confused on the Destroyer's sudden interest in the Saiyan race, Vegeta questions what this has to do with the technique used by the gods of destruction, to which Beerus replies plenty and prepares an attack. Demonstrating his powers, Beerus destroys a decorative planet with ease, shocking Goku from a distance, who notes Beerus isn't someone to be trifled with. Vegeta wonders what that technique was, and Beerus vaguely notes that this was just a small glimpse of what he can really do.
Beerus,
Vegeta begins
Okay.
to
show off your strengths, bro.
Okay.
He can acquire such an ability, but before he can finish, Beerus suddenly grabs his face and slams him into the ground, warning Vegeta that clinging to the sins of his race will hinder his ability
Okay.
to wield.
You know how last time we had a conversation, I think it was on stream.
Yeah.
And someone said something about Goku or like Broly?
Broly, yeah.
Broly beating Beerus, I think. Do you
Right.
remember what
I
it was
remember that,
about?
yeah.
I think it was like Broly beating Beerus. And I was like, oh yeah, he could definitely beat him. I take that back.
Hell no. It's not
We
possible.
clearly have not finished seeing all of what Beerus can do.
Yeah, he's not showing anything.
Clearly. He's just be yapping and sleeping and eating. So, you know,
We
I
haven't
assumed.
seen
But
shit.
yeah.
The
They haven't even scratched the surface
Beerus
on him
then
yet.
violently throws Vegeta to the side and drops a bombshell, disclosing his role in advising Frieza to destroy the Saiyans' homeworld. This revelation shocks
what?
Vegeta
Wait,
as
what?
Beerus
What?
mocking Frieza. Throws Vegeta to the side and drops a bombshell, disclosing his role in advising Frieza to destroy the Saiyans' homeworld. This revelation shocks Vegeta as Beerus mocks
And we
him.
remember in the
He told
movie,
him,
in the movie,
yes.
they showed that, and Vegeta never knew until now. That's fucking insane.
noting that it wasn't destiny after all, and threatens to obliterate Vegeta as well. Growing angry, this provokes Vegeta to power up to his Super Saiyan Blue Evolved
hell
state
yeah.
and attack Beerus, who effortlessly catches his punch. Despite Vegeta's efforts with melee attacks and ki blasts, Beerus effortlessly lands on top of him, questioning the Saiyan on what the mistakes of his race have to do with him now. The deity goes on to say that as long as Vegeta's trapped in the past, he'll never manage to grow past this point, but eager to get his hands on Beerus, Vegeta Vegeta continues his assault. Bringing Vegeta to a halt, Beerus grabs him and declares a destruction technique, blowing the Saiyan away as he flies across the planet. Watching Vegeta from the sidelines, Goku notes that must have been Lord Beerus' signature move and thinks back on his failed attempt at using it against merged Zamasu. Whis then states that the power within the technique is still amazing, despite Beerus' obvious tweak to destroy only Vegeta's armor. Defeated, Beerus lands in front of Vegeta, explaining that his true strength stems from focusing on destruction, and urges the Saiyan to destroy any stray thoughts he has and rebuild himself from scratch. He leaves him with one last piece of advice, noting that before creation comes destruction. At the Heater's base, Elec informs the others to utilize 7 intel to explore memories of the Galactic Bandit Brigade interrogating Zuno, and tells the biggest among them, Oil, to write down the coordinates. Continuing to observe the footage of Beerus and the Galactic Patrol ambushing the others, the Heaters witness all the prisoners getting released at once, as Oil questions what could have happened. One of the Heater's servants mentions that Morrow used the power of something called the Dragon Balls to make this happen, and explains that they're wishing balls created by the Namekians that can grant any wish. Piecing together this new information, Elec concludes that the Dragon Balls must have been the reason for the odd occurrences in the universe, including Frieza's revival. One of the other Heaters, Maki, ponders on who the Namekians were, and Gas informs her that they were a tribe that once lived on planet Cereal. Given the extinction of all previous life on Cereal, Oil assumes the Namekians are gone, but Elec mentions a lone survivor named Manito living on Cereal with Granola. Back on planet Cereal, Granola arrives home with water and encounters Manito.
Is that Neva? Is that Neva from Daima? What? It looks just like him.
Who thanks him for being so generous. During their conversation, Manito questions if Granola will be heading out again, but he says no and states that Frieza's been brought back to life. He goes on to say that he'll be the one to take the tyrant down, prompting Manito to advise Granola against seeking revenge, citing his insufficient strength. Granola then looks over, contemplating using the planet's Dragon Balls to acquire more power, but acknowledges his inability, needing a second Dragon Ball to summon the dragon. Manito notes that the final ball has been lost for nearly 40 years, prompting Granola to state that he'd have to search the entire planet to find the tiny ball, similar to the one in his hands. As Manito begins to explain to Granola the original purpose of the Dragon Balls, simultaneously on planet Namek, the Grand Elder Mori is teaching the Namekian children as well, noting that other planets inhabiting Namekians can also possess their own version of Dragon Balls. He likens this to planet Earth's with Dende, and although questioned on what happened to the Namekians in the far reaches of the universe, Mori remains unsure, considering the possibility that they perished long ago. Back on Cereal, Manito notes that when he dies, the planet's Dragon Balls will go with him, and Granola wonders if they could use them to restore the planet to the way it was 50 years ago. However, Manito dismisses the idea, believing it selfish to revive those who have perished and kick the Sigurians out of their new home. Out of options, Granola insists Frieza and his forces will need to be destroyed, but Manito notes that revenge isn't the way to handle things, as it will only give rise to new enemies. Reluctantly, Granola agrees to Manito's counsel to enjoy his current life without vengeance. However, as night falls, Granola learns from the news that a young boy has found the second Dragon Ball and it's being studied at an institute. Adopting a disguise, Granola infiltrates the city, sneaks into the institute, and steals the Dragon Ball, escaping into the mountains. There, he places the 2 Dragon Balls down and consults with Oatmeal on the spell to summon the dragon. Granola chants aloud, and a beam of light emanates from the Dragon Balls, releasing the dragon god Toronbo, who tells Granola to state his wish. Granola then declares his desire to become the strongest warrior in Universe 7. Noting that Granola wishes to become the strongest life form apart from the gods themselves, Toronbo states that it's possible to make him stronger than he already is, but can't increase his power beyond his latent potential. However, the dragon goes on to say that Granola could become the strongest if he agrees to a certain condition, and eager to take down Frieza at any cost, he declares he'll do whatever it takes. Back on Beerus' planet, Vegeta persists in training, attempting to use Hakai to obliterate a small rock, but unintentionally destroys it with a simple energy blast. Beerus corrects him, explaining the process the gods of destruction follow to turn something into nothing, and demonstrates the technique, triggering a massive explosion. Nearby, Goku trains with Whis, speculating on who between he and Vegeta will become the strongest in the universe. We suggest it may be someone else entirely, and although unsure if anyone's stronger than the Saiyan duo, if any, the Oracle Fish awakens, prophesying the rise of the ultimate warrior. Vegeta, overhearing this, suddenly appears, showcasing the destruction ability by obliterating a tiny pebble, declaring his imminent conquest over more formidable adversaries. Back on Serial, Toronbo departs,
they're cooking
leaving
this
Granola alone with significantly longer.
He looks like a Super Saiyan 3. What the fuck? That looks sick.
Hair. After testing his
Holy
newfound
fuck.
might in seamlessly destroying a gigantic boulder pulled from the planet, Manito, sensing the aftermath, wakes up from his sleep. Rushing into the kitchen, he notices the Dragon Ball is missing and finds Granola outside, who admits to having
He looks
used
majestic.
the Dragon Balls to become the strongest in the universe. Aware of a condition to obtain such power, Manito learns from Granola that he accepted it, warning the latter to be wary, as there's no better way to make new enemies than to brandish the power he now possesses. Confident,
But what was
Granola
the
asserts he can
condition?
handle any threat that comes his way, but Manito disputes this, exclaiming that he may be the strongest now, but there's no telling who'll come forward in the near future. Having
right.
heard enough though, Granola tries to detect Frieza's presence on nearby planets, but unable to find him, he opts to get the information from Elec and flies off toward his spaceship. Flying toward his destination, Granola is observed by Whis as Goku and Vegeta question the Oracle Fish on who's truly the strongest in the universe. Refusing to answer, he flies off, and aboard his spaceship,
his hair.
Granola trims his hair while Whis monitors the unfolding events, foreseeing potential turmoil. 2 days later, Granola
like him
arrives
with
at
the
the
long
Heater's
hair.
base and confronts the group, demanding Frieza's location. He asserts his status as the strongest in the universe, but dismissing him, Elec instructs Oil to remove him from the room. Oil throws a punch at Granola, but the latter effortlessly repels Oil with a fraction of his power.
What?
Curious about Granola's proclaimed strength, Elec orders Oil to engage him in combat. The one-sided fight unfolds as Oil charges in and attempts to
One-sided.
smash Granola, who kicks him
he's
across the
bodying him.
face. Oil
Oh my
persists in
God.
chasing Granola, but the fighter dodges every blow, surprising the others. Granola leaps into the air and fires finger blasts that create holes in the floor around Oil, which collapse and send
Dude,
him
that's
crashing
sick.
down below. Granola calmly insists that Elec call off his henchmen, but confident, he asserts they aren't done yet. Oil then rises from the floor with the broken tile and hurls it at Granola, but the fighter uses
That ain't doing shit.
destruction
Yeah.
to turn the object into smithereens.
That ain't
Assuming
doing shit,
Granola to be
man.
using magic, Mackie tags in with energy blades and charges in, swiping at Granola but misses every attack. Granola then
course.
expertly uses his scarf to bind Mackie's hands and slams her to the ground. When Gas intervenes and cuts her loose, Elec halts him, satisfied yet intrigued by Granola's power. Elec presses Granola to disclose the source of his strength, to which he confirms the use of the Dragon Balls. This revelation surprises the Heaters, excluding
try to get
Elec,
it too.
who
Watch.
Yeah.
figured as much,
Why would you
as he
tell him?
tells Granola they don't know exactly where Frieza is yet, but they'll alert him when they have some information. Granola agrees to head home for now, but notes he doesn't have much time to spare, as his life will be ending soon. Mackie questions this, as Granola is only around his 50s and is supposed to live for 2 centuries given
was
his
the condition.
DNA.
That was
But
the
Granola
condition.
reveals his drastic sacrifice, as he gave up his remaining 150 years of life in
That's a
exchange
large price
for
to
his
pay.
new power. We then witness a flashback of Granola's conversation with Toronbo, as the dragon states that the Cerulean will only have 3 years left to live. Mackie questions Granola's insane way of
Not
thinking
worth
in
it.
search of revenge, but undeterred,
his
Granola
revenge.
tells
Yeah.
Elec he'll be
wants to
waiting
get it
and
now.
departs. Later, as the Heaters discuss the situation, Elec deems it unwise for Granola to eliminate Frieza, as he might seize the tyrant's position, which they believe belongs to them. Unwilling to let Granola destroy the Frieza force either, as it serves as a profitable business opportunity for them, Elec proposes
sense.
Granola will have to die. He devises a plan to pit the Saiyans against Granola, more specifically Goku and Vegeta, the ones who took Morrow down. Elec plans to capitalize on Granola's hatred for the Saiyans who devastated his homeworld, and asserts that with Goku and Vegeta battling him together, there's no way he can win. At the
That's a
same
solid
time,
We
plan.
like
Granola,
that.
aboard
We
his
like that. I like that.
Goku and Vegeta, they're not gonna back down from this.
spaceship, prepares for his presumed encounter with Frieza, while Goku and Vegeta continue their individual training. On Beerus' planet, Whis queries Goku about the fundamental difference between him and the angels. Demonstrating with a swift whack on Goku's head using his staff, Whis clarifies that angels are always in the Ultra Instinct state,
That's
while
crazy.
Goku transforms to access it. Whis explains that when Goku's heart is calm, his body should move on its own no matter what form he's in, and the latter realizes the need to master Ultra Ultra Instinct in his base form, as Whis
What?
states that doing so will eliminate the stamina drain, reserving
He
the
can do that?
transformation for critical moments in battle. Goku
That's
notes
broken.
this process may take a while, but Whis says time may not be on his side, as he encourages both Goku and Vegeta to grow stronger, hinting at an unusual event unfolding in the universe. Meanwhile, Granola returns to his home planet, Cereal, opting to wait in his spaceship until he receives Frieza's location from Elec. Oatmeal expresses concern for Manito, but Granola reassures him that he's fine, explaining his enhanced right eye can monitor the Elder Namekian due to his wish. At the Heater's base, Oil and
Interesting.
Mackie prepare to visit Earth. Before their departure, Elec instructs them to consult Zuno to discover the whereabouts of the Saiyans Goku and Vegeta. Leaving, Elec confers with Gas, who wonders if their current efforts are really necessary just to deal with Granola. He expresses a desire to have battled the Cerulean, but Elec calms him, telling Gas that although he may have won, he'd hate to think of the worst case scenario.
He
Elec
may have
reassures
won.
his brother that he'll have the chance to fight, and notes that if all goes well, the new
How strong
supreme
is Gas?
force in the universe will be the Heaters. Weeks later, Oil and Mackie land on Zuno's planet. Despite finding the idea of kissing Zuno distasteful, Mackie endures it and secures 10 questions due to her assertive
Feisty
nature.
women.
Meanwhile,
Like Bulma.
Goku and Vegeta progress significantly in their training. And so, time passes as Oil and Mackie arrive on Earth, having questioned Zuno on Goku and Vegeta's weaknesses. They show up at Goku's house first and confront Chi-Chi, questioning if she can summon Goku to Earth, as they've heard he isn't one to defy her commands. Chi-Chi mentions her money troubles aloud and considers contacting Goku, prompting Mackie to assert that money's no object and they have the perfect job for her husband. At Capsule Corporation, Bulma, accompanied by Chi-Chi and the Heaters, contact Whis, informing the Saiyan pair of the proposition to defeat the supposed universe's strongest being. This title
They're not
shocks
gonna say no
Goku
to
and
that.
Vegeta, who question if this was the person the Oracle Fish was talking about, and Whis confirms this may be the case. Vegeta cuts in and asserts that he intends to fight, as no one may claim the title of the strongest in the universe without defeating him
course.
first. He tells Goku there's no need for him to tag along, but excited, the
Let him know,
Saiyan says
Vegeta.
he's coming too. Having confirmed their plans, Mackie and Oil thank Bulma as they step into the hallway, having completed the first step in their master plan. On Beerus' planet, Whis prepares to take Goku and Vegeta to Earth, as Goku, growing more excited, relishes the chance to demonstrate the results of his training. In response, Beerus gifts Vegeta an earring symbolizing those with the ability to use destruction, and tells the Saiyan to prove to everyone that the Gods of Destruction's signature move is stronger than the technique of the angels. Subsequently, Goku receives Whis' signature symbol on his gi, prompting a back and forth
Interesting.
between the Destroyer and Angel.
So
who have
now
taken the
they're
Saiyan
like-
under their
they
wing.
have different
Expressing no
pupils now.
intention to fall short of Kakarot, Beerus expresses pride with Vegeta's progress, as Goku notes he'll come out on top,
Oh my
but Whis
God.
warns both he and Vegeta that excess confidence could be their downfall. The trio then head off to Earth, as Beerus
Look at his
goes to take a nap.
earring.
Inside Capsule Corporation, Mackie steals the Dragon Radar, but it fails to detect Earth's Dragon Balls, adhering to Zuno's information that Cerulean Dragon Balls don't turn to stone. 30 minutes pass and Goku and Vegeta return to Earth, encountering the Heaters. Mackie offers to transport them to the supposed villain on their spaceship, and the two agree. Before they depart, Chi-Chi tells Goku to run away if things get dangerous, and Bulma tells Vegeta to be careful as they head off
I
to
know.
confront Granola on planet Cereal.
Oh, this is
Marveling at
gonna
the
be
ship's
hype.
luxurious facilities, Vegeta questions how long the trip will take, to which Oil replies 18 days. Goku is
Damn.
informed that he can eat to his heart's
Very far
desire,
away.
and Vegeta grows curious about such a nice ship for a tribe who's being ravaged by a villain. However, Mackie convinces him to drop it, and as Goku stuffs his face, Vegeta continues his training underwater. Later, Mackie contacts Granola as he inquires about Frieza's location. Mackie lies and explains that they found him, but says he was aware of Granola's plans to kill him and sent 2 assassins out to planet Cereal. Initially surprised, Granola states he can beat Frieza's location out of them directly, but soon discovers that the 2 assassins are members of the Saiyan race, which throws Granola for a loop. Now
Oh
aware that the
my
Saiyans
God.
who forced his people into extinction aren't completely wiped out, Granola leaves his ship and glances at the
gonna
remains of
piss
his
that man
hometown,
off.
eager to avenge his people after 50 long years. After enduring 18 days of space travel aboard the Heater spaceship, Goku and Vegeta, accompanied by Maki and Oil, reach planet Cereal. Despite receiving directions from Maki on Granola's location, the Saiyans note the absence of potent key signatures, assuming the enemy must be suppressing his power. Departing for the impending confrontation, Maki instructs Oil to spy on their battle while she stays behind, anticipating the arrival of Elec and Gas. Flying towards Cereal, Elec remarks that it's been 4 decades since the Heater's last visit, and Gas reflects on the unpleasant memories associated with the planet. At the same time, Goku and Vegeta continue their flight toward the mountains, the latter finding it odd that the newer cities on the planet haven't been attacked at all. Suddenly, Goku and Vegeta come under a relentless assault of accurate and deadly sniper shots from a mountainous forest. Dodging with difficulty, Vegeta transforms to Super Saiyan for improved evasion, and when the attacks stop, Goku attempts to tap into the instinct state in his base form. Recognizing another barrage incoming, the Saiyans track the shots to an empty clearing, much to their surprise. The barrage intensifies from above and below, surpassing the Saiyans' ability to keep up. Suddenly, Goku is incapacitated when a sniper shot hits a pressure point on his neck, prompting Vegeta to administer one of their 2 sensu beans as Goku regains consciousness. Vegeta scolds Goku for relying on an imperfect Ultra Instinct and tells him to dodge using his mind for now, or they'll both be killed. Goku then matches Vegeta's Super Saiyan state, employing his mental acuity instead of Ultra Instinct, and fires toward the hidden assailant, revealed to be Granola. Granola's movements prove faster than instant transmission, attributing it to numerous nameless techniques acquired through his wish to become Universe 7's strongest warrior. Disclosing his identity as the last of the Ceruleans with a grudge against the Saiyans,
he deadass unlocked level 100 as a Pokemon. What the fuck? He has every
Vegeta
move.
questions this. Rather than explaining though, Granola takes to the skies, unleashing a technique resembling destruction, triggering a massive explosion. When the dust settles, Goku and Vegeta appear undamaged. Concerned about Granola's prowess and suspecting he might be able to replicate their techniques, Goku proposes a cooperative attack. Vegeta, however, declines, aiming to prove his superiority, but concedes that Goku should face Granola first to settle the score. Goku lands in front of Granola and states he'll be fighting first, confusing Oil, who watches from a distance, questioning why the Saiyans aren't fighting together. Granola questions Goku on why they aren't transforming into great apes, prompting Goku to note that they can't use that transformation anymore, but transforms into Super Saiyan God, explaining that thanks to their training, they've got more transformations up their sleeve. Granola charges in, swiping at Goku, who barely manages to dodge, and continues his assault with a flurry of maneuvers. Having trouble keeping up with the Cerulean, Goku incorporates Ultra Instinct with his Super Saiyan God form to match Granola's onslaught. Vegeta, realizing that the technique becomes more accurate when used in conjunction with the Super Saiyan form. Goku continues to dodge a flurry of Granola's blasts, but Granola once again lands a pressure point attack that cripples Goku and drops him out of his God state. This shocks Vegeta, as Granola, standing over Goku, notes that even a flawless fighter can't hide his vital points from him. He explains that as Goku dodged, he observed his blood flow and muscle movements, attributing his perception to his evolved right eye, the sharpest in the universe. Vegeta, meanwhile, begins to suspect that there may be more to the situation than Granola being a simple villain, and explores the ancient ruins of planet Cereal. At the same time, Granola notes that Goku's been holding back and demands his full strength, declaring that he doesn't care if he kills Goku before learning Frieza's location, as Vegeta will still be alive to reveal it. Goku, realizing Granola's desire to take revenge on the tyrant Frieza, becomes confused on the Cerulean's supposed villainy. However, eager to speed things up, Granola raises his ki even further, expressing confidence in his strength above the Saiyans. Goku then ascends to Super Saiyan Blue and continues the battle, exchanging blows with fire that cause tremors and alarm the Sigurians, who question what's going on. As the battle intensifies, Vegeta's suspicions are confirmed when he finds a large great ape footprint in the ruins of Granola's hometown. Goku maneuvers skillfully, dodging a barrage of attacks and delivering a powerful kick. Granola evades and retreats into a forested area, skillfully dodging blows and blasts before launching a counterattack with a flying kick using his
This arc can be a movie.
Goku withstands the assault, but is met with a powerful punch from Granola that he manages to block. Goku retaliates with a kick that Granola blocks as well, and ultimately sends Granola flying with a powerful blow to the face. Granola responds in kind with a kick to Goku's face, and when the Saiyan recovers, he unleashes a formidable aura, causing a fiery explosion that devastates the surrounding trees. Granola, recovering from the shockwave, observes Goku's altered stance, detecting changes in his blood flow and cell movements through his evolved right eye. Goku's merged first Ultra Instinct with perfected Super Saiyan Blue is revealed, as the Saiyan notes it won't be so easy to counter. Goku, utilizing incredible speed,
they bodied it with these
Granola's
techniques
sniper
with the
blast,
combination.
charging head on with an instant Kamehameha. As the attack detonates, a massive explosion ensues, so impactful that oil is sent flying backward by the shockwave alone, and smoke fills the battlefield.
Oil,
Vegeta
get out the
watches
way.
the events unfold nearby, and when the smoke dissipates, Granola
Intense.
suffers minor injuries, but Goku is once again felled by the Cerulean's pressure point attack, as he notes his right eye will always prove superior. Goku, now in base form, is met with the realization that he's lacking in utilizing Ultra Instinct in his Super Saiyan
like
forms,
Byakugan
to
on
which
his eye.
Granola confidently
Basically.
asserts that he'll never get the chance to master it, as he'll be slaughtered here, just as his people were. Granola then manipulates the ground beneath Goku to unleash a powerful burst of energy. Goku struggles against the onslaught, propelled into a massive mushroom cloud. The Shigurians, alarmed by the explosion, initiate evacuation. Goku narrowly escapes using instant transmission and lands beside Vegeta,
Oh, he got lucky.
noting the
Very
similarity
lucky.
between Granola's
But he's
technique
holding
and
back, too.
Moro's
He doesn't-
ability to wield a planet's life energy. Vegeta taunts Goku for his struggle against Granola, and Goku notes he may actually have to use his full power in this fight. Seizing
I mean,
a lull
you
in the
think?
battle, Vegeta imparts his findings in the city ruins to Goku. The Ceruleans, annihilated by the Saiyans under Frieza's command, were known for long-ranged attacks using their evolved right eyes. Goku and Vegeta realize Granola is the last surviving Cerulean seeking revenge, and the Heaters deceive them about his villainous nature. Oil overhears the conversation, but remains committed to their plan. Convinced that defeating Granola is the only way to prove the Saiyans are no longer enemies, Goku returns to the battlefield and appears in front of the Cerulean, unveiling perfected Ultra Instinct.
We not
Granola,
playing now.
shocked,
My favorite.
faces Goku anew,
Get
noting
this
that he
motherfucker.
can't perceive any vital areas. Goku,
Yup.
utilizing the enhanced form, engages in a
best
relentless
form.
assault. Granola struggles to perceive Goku's movements, unable to detect any pressure points in his ascended state. The battle intensifies, with Goku dodging all
yeah,
of
it's over
Granola's
now.
attacks using perfected
Granola,
Ultra
you are
Instinct.
fucked.
Granola
Fuck.
rushes in to deliver a devastating blow, but Goku halts and lifts him overhead, similar to his battle with Morrow. In an instant, Goku overpowers Granola with a flurry of air punches that sends him crashing into a giant boulder,
GG's.
as Vegeta watches from afar. Vegeta believes that victory is imminent, but notices Granola's energy hasn't diminished as expected. Goku lands in front of Granola, telling the latter he's stronger than he expected and urges him to walk away, stating he can spar again with them some other time. However,
Aw.
Granola confidently
Same Goku.
states that he's
Goku's just
far
so
from
nice.
finished and explains that he split his power in half before starting the fight. It's not long
What
before he
half?
reveals that Goku's been fighting an illusion this entire
Get the
time.
fuck outta here.
Disappears.
Okay.
Vegeta simultaneously
All
pointing
right.
out that the real Granola's been in his spaceship the whole time. As Vegeta glances back, the real Granola disappears, appearing in front of Goku to strike a pressure point over his heart, causing him to revert from perfected Ultra Instinct. A final devastating blow sends Goku flying through the air and crashing through the forest,
Fam,
as
you're
the real
joking.
Granola stands uninjured. Teetering on the brink of death, Goku lies motionless, as Granola reveals his deceptive tactic of splitting his power, creating an illusionary clone to fight Goku initially. As Goku
That's
lies
wild.
vulnerable, Granola prepares to finish the job. However, Vegeta intervenes, impressed by Granola's abilities. Vegeta asserts that he'll be fighting Granola while Kakarot remains unconscious,
get him.
prompting the Cerulean to note that he doesn't care which of the Saiyans dies first. Vegeta then taunts Granola, announcing his intent to confront the warrior at full strength and declares the impending demise of the Cerulean.
Yeah!
Responding
Fuck
to
the
explosions
Ceruleans!
and earthquakes caused by the battle between Granola and the Saiyans, the Shigurians hastily evacuate their colonies. On the battlefield, Vegeta positions himself between Granola and the unconscious Goku, asserting that fusion or clones won't stand a chance against him. Granola, discarding the need for clones, declares that he no longer conserves his strength for his ultimate goal of killing Vegeta's boss, Frieza. Despite Vegeta's assurance that he's no longer affiliated with Frieza's army, Granola remains steadfast in his desire to exterminate all surviving Saiyans, regardless of individual involvement in the destruction of his people. With words proving futile, Vegeta swiftly transforms into his Super Saiyan Blue evolved
Let's
state,
get it.
telling
He
Granola to
should.
prepare himself to meet oblivion. Showcasing his newfound powers of destruction, Vegeta triggers seismic activity to surround Granola with bits of the planet and detonates them simultaneously,
Dog,
causing a
Vegeta
massive explosion.
is low-key
However,
like Beerus
Granolah,
now.
unimpressed,
What the fuck?
dismisses Vegeta's destructive capabilities as lacking. Employing his destruction-like technique, Granolah lifts and destroys a substantial rock behind Vegeta with ease, utilizing the impact of the explosion's direction to deliver a powerful punch to Vegeta's gut as a demonstration of his superiority.
getting
Though
bodied.
winded, Vegeta
no.
retaliates with a point-blank ki blast, initiating a chase as Granolah counters with devastating blows, ultimately knocking the Saiyan into a river. Granolah launches precision shots into the water, forcing Vegeta to evade by flying down a waterfall. Utilizing Oatmeal's assistance to enhance his
Aim assist.
precision, Granolah aims and fires a potent energy blast directly at Vegeta swimming in the lake. Vegeta manages to catch the blast underwater, but struggles to halt it as he slides toward the surface. Despite Granola's confidence in the attack's success, Vegeta manages to destroy it, propelled out of the water by the resulting shockwave. Acknowledging the strength of the Saiyans, Granolah remains convinced that his wishes made him the most powerful being in the universe. Vegeta, acknowledging that Granola's strength and techniques surpassed his own, remains unwavering in his confidence to win the battle. Granolah
Cockiness.
questions if the Saiyan's ego is preventing him from seeing the truth, but Vegeta tells him to shut up and fight, prompting Granola's silence. As the battle resumes, Goku awakens, experiencing intense pain from Granola's pressure point to his heart. Questioning what's going on, Goku witnesses Vegeta and Granolah exchanging blows in midair, as Granolah knocks Vegeta into a forest below. Vegeta unleashes a ki blast barrage at Granolah, who utilizes his destruction-like technique to blow them away immediately. Met with a larger blast moments after, Granolah deflects that one as well, and attempts to hit Vegeta with a blast of his own. Amidst the battle dust, Granolah unintentionally damages part of the ancient Cerulean ruins, enraging him further. Vegeta taunts the last Cerulean by exposing his lack of battle experience, aware that Granolah has only recently acquired his power, which Granolah naively confirms. Despite this observation and talk of training, it appears the gap in power is too great for Vegeta to overcome. Granolah lands a powerful kick to his stomach, and although he's able to briefly hurt Granolah by delivering a sharp elbow strike to his leg, Granolah quickly kicks him away and regains his composure, claiming that it's certain he'll win here today. Vegeta, on the other hand, is invigorated, knowing that no outcome is ever certain, the one thing he truly loves about fighting. Granolah grows infuriated at Vegeta for expressing what he sees as the bloodlust of Saiyans and attacks again, but Vegeta is able to defend himself much better than before as he continues his speech. He says that rankings of fighters reflect only a moment in time, and that his strength—
Dude, this is great because Vegeta's low-key fighting for his race.
Yeah, he is.
And Granola's like, well, I want to destroy your race completely. This is a great fight, history-wise.
Growing, even compared to a few minutes ago. Granolah then declares that if what Vegeta speaks is true, then he should finish the Saiyan off, landing a pressure point attack that shatters Vegeta's battle and painfully drops him down to base form. Vegeta struggles and coughs blood onto Granola's arm, still held up to his pressure point. His head slumps forward, but he doesn't fall, beginning to laugh instead. He goes on to say that he's experiencing a feeling that's been lost to him for a long time, as there's no planet to save, no people to protect, just pure battle. He glares at Granolah with bloodshot eyes and pulsing veins, declaring that this is the perfect place to get a battle-crazed Saiyan's blood pumping. Granolah jumps back in surprise as Vegeta's aura swells and ignites into that of an enormous flame that shoots high above the forest. This alerts both Oil and Goku, the latter of whom notes that Vegeta's key signature feels like that of a god, but not that of a kind. As the aura continues to swell, Granolah fires precision blast at Vegeta, who's concealed within the inferno of his new aura, only for them to be destroyed on contact. As his aura clears away, we see that Vegeta has transformed, his training with Beerus allowing him to
God!
traits of the gods of destruction.
What? Fam! His hair is purple!
Oh my god!
What? Holy shit! Wait, we needed that. Wait.
What? My king? My glorious king finally!
They gave him a transformation!
Finally! Y'all, I've been waiting for this!
Wait, this is so hard. What?
Oh my god, okay, go back.
God of destruction. Bro, this is fucking insane.
Continues to swell.
Okay.
Granolah fires precision blast at Vegeta, who's concealed within the inferno of his new aura, only for them to be destroyed on contact. As his aura clears away, we see that Vegeta has transformed, his training with Beerus allowing him to ascend to a new form possessing the traits of the gods of destruction themselves. Vegeta once again prepares to battle Granolah in his new form, boasting that a god of destruction taught him that power derived solely from instinct is unbounded. Vegeta unleashes a surge of his newfound energy at Granolah. As the Cerulean dissipates it, Vegeta appears before him, gripping him by his scarf. Vegeta asserts that Granola's become arrogant with his new power, promising to humble him before launching a sequence of strikes. Granolah counters with a punch to Vegeta's gut.
So then, what is this form? What is the like?
Yeah, what is this
obviously,
form
yeah. Like,
called?
what is it? Is it like similar to Ultra Instinct, or is this like past that? Because
That's funny that his hair looks like Beerus's Beerus's hair color.
they will explain it. Okay.
But it seems to
Oh my
have
God.
minimal
This is
impact,
fire.
with the Saiyan even boasting that he's gaining strength before hurtling
gets
his
hit?
adversary headlong into the ancient city below.
He gets hit and he
Granolah
gets
attempts
stronger?
to regain his composure, but Vegeta gives him little time to prepare, kicking him further into the ruins. Granolah is taken aback by the new heights his opponent reached and inquires what a god of destruction is. Appearing behind him, Vegeta explains that there are certain entities known as such, with one in Universe 7 who instructed him about his present capability. Granolah inquires if the god of destruction bestowed this new power upon him, but Vegeta clarifies that the power is his alone, and it was awakened for the first time during their clash. Unwilling to accept that
Deserved.
Vegeta
It's
could
just
have potentially
his.
closed the gap in their power, their fight continues, with Granolah launching an energy blast at Vegeta, who boldly withstands it, much to Granola's shock. Granolah
he's
continues
a fucking
launching
tank
blast
now?
blasts, but Vegeta continues to take them head on before advancing. In a state of panic, Granolah conjures an energy shield which protects him from Vegeta's assault.
Ooh, you
Granolah
lucky
questions why he
bastard.
doesn't dodge attacks like Goku, but Vegeta dismisses the comment, considering perfected Ultra Instinct inferior to his technique. He asserts that Goku's body might have a mind of its own, but he's all ego, and instructs Granolah to refer to his new state as Ultra Ego. Vegeta
Ultra Ego! Oh, that's tough.
breaches Granola's
That is
shield
tough.
and makes contact with
That's
his
perfect.
face, sending him crashing through the city once more. From afar, Manito observes
No,
the
that's
battle
so
unfolding
badass.
in the old
Perfect.
city, pondering if Granolah is currently confronting Frieza. Growing increasingly frustrated at being on the losing side of the battle, Granolah swears he'll never be defeated by one of Frieza's minions. Vegeta, however, reveals the truth, noting that a meteor wasn't the cause of the eradication of planet Vegeta, but Frieza, marking the Saiyan race another tribe pushed to the brink of extinction by the tyrant. Despite his shock at this revelation, Granolah asserts that this is no reason to cancel his vendetta against the Saiyans and punches
Oh my
Vegeta,
gosh.
who takes the blow and asserts Granolah can believe what he wants as he kicks him into the distance.
Dude, that's so
Recovering,
poetic
Granolah
that
lands
Vegeta's like a tank now because he always gets beat by the fighters and now they're using that. He's using that to his advantage.
And he literally, this is all his.
Yeah.
This is all his.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
Oh my God, I've
That's
been wanting
amazing.
this.
W
atop
Vegeta.
the
Amazing.
city ruins.
Ultra Ego,
Oatmeal
so
pointing out
fucking
that
good.
And the
Saiyans
name.
appear to be victims as well. He attempts to point out the discrepancies in Vegeta's statement against the Heaters, but bent on revenge, Granolah decides to discard him, claiming that he no longer requires his assistance now that he's the most powerful being in the universe. Landing next to Vegeta, Granolah notes that he'll have to make up for his lack of battle experience and swears to grow stronger, using telekinesis to lift a large chunk of the city ruins from the ground and hurls it at Vegeta. Vegeta, however, easily catches it and tosses it aside. Immediately, Granolah launches more of the
Amazing.
city's ruins down at Vegeta, utilizing his destruction-like technique to completely obliterate them, along with
Jesus.
a large portion of the once bustling hometown. As the smoke dissipates, Vegeta, recognizing Granola's intent to finish this battle by any means necessary, discards his damaged battle jacket, urging his opponent to continue his assault. As the battle ensues,
Take off that Saiyan
Oatmeal
armor.
remotely
Go in.
operates Granola's spaceship to collect him and flies off. Vegeta lands a devastating blow to Granolah, who responds by kicking Vegeta in his gut. Showing obvious signs of growing fatigue, Vegeta pushes through, smashing Granolah down to the forest below. Taking a moment to breathe, Vegeta notes the blood pouring from his body but shows little concern, excited at the prospect of growing even stronger. Unexpectedly,
Damn.
Granolah unleashes a massive massive ki blast that Vegeta manages to evade, taunting him on being able to dodge after all, as Vegeta notes it's unwise to underestimate a Saiyan. Meanwhile, Goku drinks from the river and catches his breath,
Vegeta's
wondering
cooking,
why
man.
Vegeta's energy
Crazy.
isn't feeling as powerful as before. Realizing he can't sit on the sidelines forever, Goku commences his self-healing process. The fight between Vegeta and Granola becomes more one-sided as Vegeta continues to take more damage. He launches a potent double Gallic cannon, sending
God
Granola
damn!
back, but in his moment of reprieve, Vegeta nearly loses consciousness, realizing he's taken far too much damage. When the dust settles, Granola remains standing, taking aim at Vegeta. Vegeta's surprised to see Granola on his feet and decides to end the fight, powering up and creating a sphere of destruction, declaring it'll destroy anything it touches. Vegeta launches the energy
That's
sphere,
Beerus
and
Jr.
countering
right
this
there. What
threat,
the hell?
Granola evolves his left eye, enabling him to dismantle Vegeta's attack, triggering a
What?
colossal explosion
What?
unlike
Oh
any
my
the planet's
God.
seen thus far. The resulting impact shakes the entire planet, much to everyone's surprise. As the dust settles, an extremely injured Vegeta lies on the ground, astounded at how effortlessly Granola was able to repel his assault. Landing gracefully, Granola mockingly thanks Vegeta for helping him unlock his true potential, and boasts that with both of his eyes now evolved, he
That's
can
crazy.
counteract anything Vegeta throws
What
at
the
him.
Both his
fuck?
eyes, yeah.
Elliot comments on the battle shifting in Granola's favor, pleased that everything is going as planned. The Heaters then start making their way toward the first Dragon Ball. Vegeta and Granola continue their battle, with Granola demonstrating a clear upper hand due to his evolved left eye. Vegeta is
Right.
blasted to the ground by a barrage of ki blast, Granola sarcastically commenting on the Saiyan's growing strength from taking damage. Granola continues his
I
ki
like that
blast
he's like
assault,
this.
sending
The
Vegeta rolling
finger
into the
gun.
heel of his boot as he teleports to meet him. Reverting to base form, Granola continues taunting Vegeta, who adamantly refuses to back down. Granola, growing frustrated by his persistence, delivers multiple devastating
God
attacks
damn.
and readies a
Why they
fatal
do this to
blow.
Vegeta,
Goku,
man?
However, intercepts Granola in his perfected
Oh,
Super
shit.
Saiyan blue form, striking him with intense force, much to everyone's surprise. Shocked that Goku's managed to get back on his feet, the Saiyan resolves to continue the fight, but Vegeta, rising
What?
to his feet, unexpectedly kicks Goku,
He don't want
sending
his
him
help.
into a nearby water
He doesn't want
tank.
his help.
Furious about the prospect of being proven
You see?
inferior to Goku, Vegeta grabs him by the shirt and strikes him again.
God
I knew that was
damn.
gonna
He's
happen.
only ever
Thought he
agreed
was
to
gonna
fight
crash out.
side by side
Yeah.
when they had something to protect. Goku points out that his life is in danger, but Vegeta dismisses this, stating he'd rather die than team up. Unbeknownst to them, Granola rushes in and attempts to strike a pressure point to Vegeta. Fortunately, Goku manages to push Vegeta out of harm's way with a shockwave,
good
and
stuff.
his resulting injuries leave him temporarily unconscious. Granola questions how Goku could react so quickly, and Goku explains that he now understands Granola's strategy of targeting vital weak points, asserting it won't work anymore. Believing Goku to be bluffing, Granola quickly appears behind him and strikes him in the back of his neck, seemingly ending their rematch quickly as Goku
What the fuck?
collapses in base form. However, Goku strikes back at Granola, asserting that the
What?
same move won't work on him twice.
Goku,
Growing angry,
what?
Granola attacks Goku again, but the result remains the same, prompting Goku to deliver a blow to Granola in response. Regaining his composure, Granola realizes Goku's ability to shift his vitals out of harm's way, to which Goku confirms, and notes that although he can't dodge the
Goku's battle IQ, man, it's just over the roof. I just can't believe this shit.
Cerulean's attacks completely, he can shift enough
That's
to
one
make
thing
sure
he
he
has.
doesn't hit anything important.
Battle
Granola
IQ.
commends Goku's defensive ability, but argues that the Saiyan's offensive force is lacking. He goes on to say that so long as Goku's attacks don't deal any major damage, he'll never be able to surpass him. Meanwhile, Vegeta regains consciousness, watching as Goku and Granola continue to exchange blows, and Goku is sent crashing to the ground, reverting to base form. Vegeta decides to take over, still refusing
Dude,
to
this
team up
fight
due to
is
his
so
Saiyan
fucking
pride.
good.
Vegeta realizes
Insane.
that since Granola has only recently gained his newfound power, he'll soon reach his limit and create an opening, which Vegeta will exploit for victory. He pleads with Goku to leave the fight to him, and Goku agrees. Confronting Granola, Vegeta's met with taunts of refusing to learn his lesson, but responds by noting Granola's thought nothing through but his revenge of the Saiyan race.
This
Refusing
fight
to
should be
deny
Vegeta's
his
win.
mission though, Vegeta
100%.
I
urges
agree.
It
Granola
should
to
be.
hit
Yep.
him with all the power he's
For his
got
race and everything.
transforms to Ultra Ego once more.
Let's
surprising
go.
Granola, and the
That's
battle
fire.
continues. Vegeta headbutts Granola toward the Shigurian city, and the latter's attempt to break his fall proves futile as the Saiyan kicks him through the city's protective protective barrier. Immediately, Granola urges Vegeta to take the fight elsewhere to avoid damaging the city.
Right,
Vegeta, however,
destroy it.
ignores his request and continues the fight. Examining once more to move their location, Granola punches Vegeta, but is met with the Saiyan's ferocious bite as he's slammed to the ground. Vegeta goads Granola in saying he can't use his rapid-fire attacks in the city, but with Granola standing directly over him with the city's safety assured, the fighter unleashes a barrage of attacks on Vegeta at point-blank range to end the fight. When the smoke dissipates, Vegeta is revealed unconscious in a crater created by Granola, and Granola collapses from exhaustion as a window breaks behind him, revealing a terrified Shigurian family in their home. Granola then flashes back to his childhood when he runs into a building where his mother is waiting for him. The two embrace, but turn in horror as Granola is brought back to the present, realizing the fear he's causing the Shigurians. Having regained consciousness, Vegeta tells Granola that the Saiyan race deserves to be punished, but by doing so, he's just repeating history. Pondering this revelation, Granola becomes irate at Vegeta, unwilling to forfeit his chance for revenge, and uses a shockwave to hurl the Saiyan out of the city. Granola approaches him and gathers all his power for a final, suicidal attack to finish off Vegeta.
I need Granola in a
He'll
game.
have to wait to get revenge
He's so
on
fucking
Frieza
cool.
until they're both in hell. Accepting his fate, Vegeta apologizes to Beerus, acknowledging that he couldn't revert to the man he once was, and that the power of the god of destruction was beyond his reach. Goku, watching the act from afar, rushes in as well as Minato, who's carried forward on a spaceship piloted by Oatmeal. Goku tries to intervene, but the power of the attack prevents him from getting closer. Minato calls out to Granola to stop, and the sudden distraction gives Goku the chance to knock Granola to the ground, calling both he and Vegeta foolish for needlessly sacrificing their lives. Minato lands the ship assisted by Oatmeal, and upon revealing himself, Goku and Vegeta question what a Namekian is doing on planet Cereal. Granola pleads with Minato to stand aside and let him finish the Saiyans, but the old man explains that he lied to Granola in the past, as there was one Saiyan who didn't deserve his vengeance. 40 years ago, the man who saved both Granola and himself was none other than a Saiyan named Bardock.
Bardock?
Decades prior, on planet
Bardock
Cereal,
lore?
the Namekians would often interact with their neighboring Ceruleans to provide mutual assistance. However, this peaceful coexistence was disrupted when the Saiyans and Frieza Force launched an attack, devastating the city and its inhabitants. There weren't many Namekians or Ceruleans on the planet to begin with, so the invasion went off without much issue. Children and elders were massacred, and it wasn't long before Minato became the last surviving Namekian on the planet. As the Saiyans continue their rampage, Bardock, in his great ape form, notices a young Cerulean boy running toward a building in the distance and decides to follow him. Making his way toward the structure, we see Granola and his mother, terrified at the sight of the great ape, and Granola passes out in fear. Rather than immediately killing the two though, Bardock hesitates. In a desperate move, a brave Cerulean named Flake takes aim to destroy the moon as one of the Saiyans rush toward him. However, Flake miraculously releases his energy blast moments before being hit, making impact with the moon and destroying it. The Saiyan warriors revert to their base forms, and initially assuming victory, Flake is confronted by one of them as he asserts Saiyans are powerful even without their great ape forms. In an instant, Flake is knocked into a structure with force and killed.
Frieza's
as
behind
Leek,
all
the
this
Saiyan
shit.
who was grazed by Flake's attack, recovers. Bardock, having also reverted, stands before Granola and his mother inside the structure.
Fucking Bardock.
Granola's mother launches a warning shot, destroying one of Bardock's shoulder guards and grazing him. Gazing at the mother and her child, Bardock is brought back to a moment with his wife, Gine, who beams with joy while being around their baby boy, Kakarot. Suddenly, Bardock's comrade, Leek, calls out to him from outside. Leek informs Bardock that their mission was accomplished and that they need to depart, but Bardock instructs Leek to leave without him as he intended to search for survivors. Bardock, using his scouter, confirms that these two are the last surviving Ceruleans. He also detects another survivor in the mountains with a power level of 5 and decides to take the two to the survivor's location. The surviving Namekian, Minato, senses the Saiyans approach and attempts to attack him, but Bardock easily stops it. Bardock finds it odd that the Namekian's power level jumped from 5 to 213 and correctly deduces that the race must have the ability to control their power levels. Upon seeing an unconscious Granola in Bardock's arm, Minato calms down after his mother walks in, overjoyed with seeing surviving Ceruleans. The mother introduces herself as Muesli and seeks refuge with Minato, and Bardock advises the group to remain hidden to avoid drawing any attention from Frieza in his arm.
Bardock W,
Wow.
bro. He was for the people.
Yeah.
Oh my
He
god.
saved them.
He saved
And
Granola.
over here, Granola's acting a fool.
He's tweaking out.
Yeah.
Despite initially being skeptical, Manito accepts the Saiyans' explanation of helping them without expecting anything. Bardock, before leaving, advises the group to survive for as long as they can, and upon
a hero.
being asked for his name by Manito, Bardock reveals his identity. Back in the present, Manito finishes recounting the past, leaving Granola bewildered that a Saiyan saved his life. Manito apologizes for withholding the truth, and notes that Goku bears a striking resemblance to Bardock. Goku, however, states that he's unaware of any familial ties as he was raised on Earth, and Vegeta interjects, revealing that Bardock was Goku's father. This revelation
Holy
shocks everyone,
Lord
and
drop.
Manito remarks that it
Wait,
must be
it
destiny
took this
that brought
fucking
them all
long?
together. Goku wishes he knew more about his father, while Vegeta points out the genetic nature of soft-heartedness in Goku's family.
Oh my
Granola then questions why his mother didn't survive, to which Manito responds with a bitter recollection of the past. In another flashback, Bardock receives treatment for his wounded arm from Manito. Suddenly, the Saiyan detects the presence of someone, and in the distance, he spots the Heater Gang. Bardock, Manito, and Muesli listen in on the Heaters as they discuss their scheme to deceive the Sigurians and usurp Frieza in the future. Abruptly, Granola wakes up and screams upon seeing Bardock, startling everyone and alerting the Heaters. Manito quickly knocks Granola out, and Bardock grows irritated at the kid for revealing their location. With little
Oh,
time
God.
to prepare, Bardock takes Manito's robe as the Heaters approach them. Concealing his face, Bardock pretends to have discovered survivors when questioned by Elec on his identity. Elec instructs Bardock to kill the trio immediately, but when the Saiyan hesitates, he questions this. Bardock attempts to buy the trio some time by mentioning Manito's healing ability, but suddenly, Elec fires a weapon, shooting Granola's mother in
There
the
you
heart
go.
and killing
Oh
her.
There
my
you go.
god.
Elec tells Bardock to kill the kid and take the Namekian, but the Saiyan surges with anger, noticed by Gas. Unexpectedly, Bardock unleashes a blast at the Heaters, but Gas protects them with a force field. Utilizing the smoke as cover, Bardock managed to escape with the others. Manito attempts to heal Granola's mother, but he
That's
lacks
insane.
the power to do so. Wondering what's gotten into him, Bardock glances at a young Granola as Elec simultaneously tells the others that Bardock, the Namekian, and the boy have to die. Gas offers to finish the job alone and flies off to find them. In the present, the Heaters continue their search for the Cerulean Dragon Balls.
Wow.
Elec and Gas reminisce about their encounter with Bardock and Gas's fight with him 40 years ago. Gas notes he'll never suffer an indignity like that ever again, and pulling out the first Dragon Ball they managed to find, Elec alludes to a dastardly wish. At the same time, the Heaters draw closer to the second and final Dragon Ball. On their way, Maki checks on Oil, who informs her of the current situation. Maki runs to alert the others, who discover that Goku, Vegeta, and Granola have stopped fighting. Elec questions this turn of events, only to find out that Manito intervened. This annoys
Yeah.
Elec, who is hoping Manito would stay out of their affairs. Gas suggests they simply eliminate all of them, and his siblings concur, giving that both parties are fatigued from their earlier conflict.
kill them all.
Elec decides
Okay.
to take advantage
y'all
of the
can?
situation
Yeah.
and
Y'all strong
summon the
enough?
dragon
Exactly.
after locating the remaining Dragon Ball, as Maki hands him the radar and spell to summon Toronbo. Before she and Gas depart for Goku and the others, Elec tells Gas he'll be making a wish for him, prompting Gas to state his current strength is more than sufficient to handle everyone. However, Elec insists that their plans hinge on Gas's power, and Gas pledges to complete their mission as he and Maki depart. Back at the battlefield, Granola is infuriated to learn that Elec, who he served for years,
He's been lied
is
to
the one
this
who
whole
murdered
time.
his mother. He confronts Manito for withholding this
gotta
information,
feel
but
shitty.
Manito explains that he was trying to protect him. Goku intervenes to prevent Granola from harming Manito, while Vegeta questions if Bardock was victorious in his fight against Gas. Manito confirms that Bardock was in fact victorious, mentioning that Gas was a formidable opponent. However, before he can finish his sentence, the sky darkens. The Saiyans liken this darkness to their Dragon Balls on Earth
Oh,
as Granola
no.
and Manito
Oh
grow
my God.
anxious. As the two likely predicted, Elec successfully summons
This
the
is gonna
dragon and
suck.
stands in awe of the sight. The dragon, Toronbo, inquires for Elec's wish, which is granted off screen. The sky sky goes back to
Oh,
normal,
great.
and the arrival of an overwhelming power sends shockwaves through
Oh my
Goku,
God.
Vegeta, and Granola. Oil and Maki then arrive, taunting the trio of fighters, and notes they'll be disposed of soon. Maki sarcastically thanks Granola for his services, but declares him an obstacle now that
used
he's
him as a
become the
pawn.
strongest in the universe.
That's unfortunate.
However, she notes that he's not the only one capable of making a wish. She and Oil then introduce Gas, now the most powerful
The
being
strongest.
in the universe.
Jesus.
Minato deduces
Oh.
that the
Nice.
Heaters use the Dragon Balls
gotta
to make
glow
this
up.
possible, surprising Goku and Vegeta, who knew nothing of Dragon Balls on planet Cereal. Granola admits that he used the Dragon Balls to gain his power as well, which
Yeah, and then
now
you went
makes
to tell
sense to Goku. Effortlessly, Gas initiates a destructive energy beam that splits the land, forcing everyone to
Jesus.
evade it. The beam destroys Granola's ship and leaves
Therefore, he's
everyone
stronger than
in awe. Without
Granola now.
hesitation, Gas conjures a pitchfork and tosses it at Granola,
What
impaling
the
Cerulean
fuck?
and attaching him to half of his ship's remains. Landing in front of the group, Gas expresses his disdain for Granola and the satisfaction he feels in finally having the chance to
Oh
kill him.
my.
Goku attempts to intervene, but Gas snaps his fingers and binds him with energy constructs. Goku is unable to move, and Gas recognizes the Saiyan as Bardock's son, a fact that's corroborated by Oil. Gas inquires about Bardock's current status, but Vegeta explains that their race, including Bardock, was nearly wiped out by Frieza, leaving only a handful of survivors. The Heaters are unfazed by this and decide to kill Goku and the remaining Saiyans, prompting Goku to question why they have to die in the first place.
Can make an
Providing
axe?
a rather vague response, Gas conjures an axe and declares Goku dead, but just as he goes in for the kill, he's blasted in the back. The axe nearly hits Goku as it lands, and when Gas turns around, Granola is discovered
he's
to have
alive.
fired the blast, claiming that the title of the strongest in the universe belongs to him. With no words exchanged,
Period.
Gas rushes in and attacks Granola. The Heater continues to pummel him, demonstrating an obvious
Oh, he's
dominance
beating the
over
brakes
the once
off of him.
strongest warrior. Meanwhile, Minato frees Goku from his bonds and begins to heal him,
What if they
requesting if
both
he can do
wish?
one thing for him and save Granola's life. Goku agrees, and at the same time, Granola continues his struggle against Gas.
both wish
Attempting
for
to
the
land
same
hits,
thing, they
he
should be the
questions why the
same.
Heaters let him live.
No, not
and Gas
technically,
explains
because-
that
in
they
power, unless
Well,
he specifically said, I mean,
The
I know it's
strongest
like off.
in the universe right now.
Yeah,
So-
stronger than.
It's gonna be stronger than Granola, yeah. So if you wish something, then wish something afterwards. You're gonna be better
didn't know
than
he
the
survived
previous
until
person.
several years after the fall
Oh,
of
it's gonna
Planet
one-up him.
Cereal.
Yeah.
He goes on to say that
Pretty
by
much.
that time, Granola had already made a name for himself as a bounty hunter, and wanting to utilize him as a resource instead, Elec agreed to keep him alive. Granola then flashes back to his youth post-Cereal's destruction, as a conversation ensues between Minato and Elec. Minato stating that Granola doesn't know the truth of his mother's death, as if he did, he'd run off to confront her killer, ending his own life in the process. Confident that the boy would never learn the truth, Elec tells Minato to keep his mouth shut. Otherwise, he and Granola will both be killed. Elec then introduces himself to the
crazy.
boy, offering to pay him for his services. Back in the present, Minato regrets the decisions he's made, but Goku says he did it for the sake of Granola,
Yeah.
so he can't blame himself. However, Minato continues to downplay his credibility as a Namekian, stating that he can't even restore Goku's energy completely. Suddenly, Goku remembers that he and Vegeta brought another Sensu
Oh, yeah,
beam,
they had
but
two.
Vegeta says he stored it in his armor that he tossed away.
Of
An
course.
explosion then occurs moments after, and Granola emerges from the smoke unconscious. Tagging in, Goku
gonna be
thanks
a hard
Minato
fight,
for
man.
healing some of his injuries and tells Vegeta to go back, find his armor, and eat the Sensu bean as soon as he finds it. Vegeta seems to be surprised by this, but Goku notes that it's only fair given he ate the first one. Vegeta tells Goku not to die, and Goku tells his ally to use his freaky face mode to defeat Gas
Freaky
as he
face.
flies off. Vegeta noting the form is called Ultra Ego. Goku lands in front of Gas, who, without hesitation, summons a blade and attempts to stab
That is
the
so
Saiyan.
cool,
However,
man, that he
Goku
can do that.
transforms into his perfected Super Saiyan blue form, halts the blade, and breaks it in half.
Damn.
Goku attempts to buy some time by launching a series of attacks at Gas, but appearing from an explosion, the Heater smashes Goku in the head with
That's
a
so
hammer he
unique.
conjured up. Maki naively asserts
So he
that
can
Gas
just
didn't
have
need the
different-
wish as
He
Goku's
could
being
just conjure
pushed
up
back,
different,
and at the
uh,
same
weapons and
time,
stuff.
Oil points out that Vegeta is missing. Vegeta locates his armor in the Sensu bean and returns to the battlefield where Goku is anxiously waiting for him. He stands over an unconscious Granola and wakes him up, instructing him to eat the senzu bean instead. Vegeta explains that it'll restore his strength, and confused as to why Vegeta, who had it all along, didn't use it himself. Vegeta responds that he would rather lose than resort to such a cowardly tactic. He encourages Granola to seek his revenge against those who ruined his life by eating the bean and using his own strength to settle the score. On board the Heater spaceship, Alex sits back and witnesses the explosions from afar, confident that Gas has secured his place as the universe's strongest. A suggestion is made to Alex to reposition their ship closer to the battlefield, but the Heater insists on staying put until the conclusion of the fight, mentioning that he has other tasks to carry out. Meanwhile, Monito is being threatened by Oil and Maki, who demand to know Vegeta's whereabouts. At the scene of the fight, Granola consumes the senzu bean offered by Vegeta, leading to an immediate recovery from his injuries. Using instant transmission, he promptly steps in to thwart Oil and Maki's intimidation of Monito, employing a shockwave that throws the duo into a nearby cliff. Gas halts his assault on Goku and notices this, questioning how Granola managed to heal himself. Monito hands Oatmeal over to Granola, who offers an apology for his past mistreatment and expresses gratitude for Oatmeal's support. Unlocking his left eye once more and charging up for the confrontation, Granola challenges Gas to resume their fight. Interested, Gas tosses a defeated Goku aside, and the pair confront one another. Gas persistently employs his key manipulation technique to create an array of
this shit's gonna be cinema.
While Oatmeal assists Granola. Gas attempts to swipe at Granola with a shield, but Granola evades, utilizing the opening to fire a barrage of ki blasts.
That is so fucking sick that he does that with his fingers, dude.
The barrage continues as Gas ascends to the air, but darts back down as Granola moves out of the way. Conjuring a spike, Gas charges at Granola, but the latter redirects it and tosses Gas aside. Preparing kunai, Gas tosses a bunch at Granola, but he deflects them and gives chase. At the same time, Oatmeal warns Granola of his elevated heart rate and instructs him to stay calm and focused. He then alerts Granola of a wrecking ball coming from above, which the Cerulean manages to stop from crushing him. However, Gas tugs at the chain and detonates the weapon, but Granola remains unharmed. He attempts to move from the smoke, but is quickly warned by Oatmeal that he's surrounded by projectiles, as Gas confidently thrusts them into the smoke, supposedly hitting Granola. As the dust clears though, Granola's unharmed, clutching the remainder of the projectiles in his hands, and asserts ki manipulation won't work on him anymore. Goku queries Vegeta about Granola's performance, to which Vegeta responds that the fighter is holding his own, and may even be outdoing Gas. Granola continues his assault, exchanging blows with Gas and eventually landing a solid punch that sends him crashing into a tree. Oil questions how Gas could be getting pushed back.
Damn, Gas, you're pretty ass. Like, what's going on here?
Vegeta states that the Heater has only recently attained the title of the strongest and has yet to fully harness his power. During their ongoing battle, Granola questions why Gas is relying solely on his inherent abilities rather than the powers granted to him by the Wish. At the same time, Maki, on the sidelines, says to herself that it's not that Gas can't utilize his power, but he just doesn't want to. Unaware of this theory though, Granola attempts to strike a powerful blow, only to be met with a barrier from Gas's growing aura. Effortlessly, Gas extends his hand and unleashes a colossal blast on Granola at point-blank range, leaving the fighter with damages as he grows annoyed. Granola points out that he knew Gas was holding back, and Gas concedes that he must draw on his newfound strength. He, however, points out his reluctance in doing so, as he intended to defeat Granola using his own techniques. Granola then unleashes another barrage of ki blasts, but using instant transmission, Gas appears in front of him, pointing out that any abilities Granola gained are now his to wield as well. Gas delivers a devastating punch to Granola and uses destruction to blow him away. Granola rises quickly though and discards his jacket, stating he never thought taking Gas down would be easy, and goads the Heater to show him what he's really made of. Granola uses instant transmission and appears behind Gas, who manages to block his attack.
I love that this is not a Goku and Vegeta fight. This is two different characters.
With Goku pointing out that the two are using instant transmission like it's nothing, and he worked hard to learn that technique. Granola, however, demonstrates a more obvious dominance in using it, corroborated by Vegeta, who states that Gas's attempts at using it are sloppy. As the two Saiyans continue to spectate, Vegeta notes that despite Gas having a speed and power advantage over Granola, he isn't perfect, leaving room for Granola to potentially turn the tide. The confrontation between Granola and Gas rages on, with Granola maintaining the upper hand, much to the increasing annoyance of Gas. As the battle unfolds, Oil expresses concern that their wish may have been in vain. However, Maki counters that Gas would never allow himself to be defeated so easily.
Right.
As Gas begins to anticipate and counterattack Granola's tactics,
Yeah, I think he's gonna
Vegeta
do
observes that Granola wasted too much time and allowed Gas to grow accustomed to his new power. Despite his increasing familiarity with
He has to get
Granola's
used to
moves,
it.
though, Gas is still overpowered. Granola introduces clones into the battle, but Gas
shit.
quickly dispatches each one, dismissing the tactic as ineffective. More Granola clones charge in as Gas assumes victory, preparing himself and launching a series of simultaneous blasts to pierce the clones, much to
Yeah.
everyone's
Unexpected.
surprise.
He got used to
Gas
that
assumes
power.
that Granola lost himself in his newfound skills, but the real Granola appears in front of him, asserting
There he
that he
is.
was waiting for the perfect opening to unleash his devastating
Yeah.
attack. Granola then lets out a resounding cry and blasts Gas in the stomach at
Fuck
point-blank
yeah, let's
range,
go.
sending him crashing through the rubble across planet Cereal and eventually landing in a river.
That
Sinking
was
to the
good.
bottom, Mackie and Oil grow concerned and rush to their brother, Goku marveling at Granola's power. However, the Cerulean collapses from exhaustion, and Vegeta notes that the creation and destruction of his clones have taken a significant toll on his body. Monito attempts to assist Granola, but Granola
Heal him.
urges him to stay back, asserting that the fight is far from over. Soon after,
seriously?
Elec arrives, questioning Gas
Y'all
about
got
his
time to heal
lackluster
Granola?
performance, much to the anger of Granola. Mackie questions how Gas could be struggling when he should be the strongest due to the
Right,
wish that they
right.
made. And Elec confirms that they did indeed make a wish, but reveals that there's another power that Gas needs to master. He then removes a necklace from
What do they
Gas's head, surprising Oil and Mackie, who recall that things didn't end well the last time this was done. Gas begins to act erratically, and despite Mackie's protest that Gas will lose all reason in his liberated state, Elec and
Oh,
Liberated.
That's like
state.
the original Broly film where he had that little mechanism around his neck and he couldn't really do anything unless his dad took it off.
Yeah.
this that he endured
like
and
control.
unleashed
Yeah.
his innate power. Gas soon releases
Oh.
a mighty roar and is enveloped in a surge of power,
Oh.
causing him to grow significantly larger.
Well-
Vegeta and Goku are puzzled by Gas's
Oh.
sudden
There we have
transformation, and Monito, clearly terrified, reveals that he's seen this form before. He explains that when Gas first battled Bardock, he was losing and resorted to this form, losing his sense of self in the process. Now, in this larger and more powerful form, Gas charges toward
like a
Granola,
demon, dude.
easily overpowering him. Granola finds he's unable to defend himself as Gas mercilessly pummels him around planet Cereal. Vegeta questions Monito on how Bardock managed to defeat Gas in this state, but Monito admits he doesn't know, as he was unconscious at the time.
I
Mackie
was
notes
gonna
that she
say.
knew Gas would lose himself in
Somebody
this state,
speak to
and
King
she
Kai.
and Oil attempt to
Or
reach
somebody
out to
over
him.
there.
However, Gas can no longer recognize them as allies and charges toward them, delivering a blow to both. Despite Mackie and Oil's complaints about Gas's loss of control, Elec remains confident, asserting that as the strongest warrior in the universe, Gas will eventually gain control. Suddenly, Gas takes off and turns his attention to Vegeta, kicking him with intense
my
force and
God.
slamming him into a nearby rock. He continues to overpower the wounded Saiyan with a flurry of punches, prompting Goku to rush in to help with a blocked attack. However, the sight of Goku reminds Gas of his battle with Bardock, causing him to recoil at the memory. Gas begins to shake and convulse in pain, but Elec's reminder of his vow to never lose again resonates with him. This awakening allows Gas to momentarily regain control, and his body undergoes another transformation.
What did
Everyone
Bardock
watches in
do to him?
anticipation as Gas regains his senses and takes control of his
Huh.
new form. Elec is
Interesting.
delighted to see his younger brother officially become the strongest in the universe, a sentiment echoed by Goku, who notes that Gas has indeed awakened. Elec instructs Gas to eliminate all who stand in their way, and Gas complies with a nod. Harnessing his newfound power, Gas immobilizes Goku and Vegeta with a paralyzing spell,
fuck?
leaving them motionless.
Paralyzing
Elec commands
spell?
Gas to end the Saiyans, but suddenly, Granola appears beside him, attempting a strike. Gas quickly moves his brother out of harm's way to Granola's surprise, and
He can
Elec
just
taunts
teleport him
Granola
away?
as the latter declares he
What a bit-
murdered his mother. He goes on to say that had it not been for the heaters, nobody on planet Cereal would have died, and prepares to kill Elec. However, Elec confidently asserts that the heaters could have killed Granola whenever they chose, and this time is no different. Gas then quickly snaps Granola's arms with a swift
Bro.
kick, causing the Cerulean to scream
Oh
out
my
in
God.
pain. Without hesitation, Gas then
Someone call
incapacitates
Beast
Granola
Gohan.
by gouging out his eyes, and he falls into Elec's lap.
Holy
Elec sarcastically
fuck.
thanks
His
Granola for
eyes?
all the jobs he's done for them and grants him the courtesy of dying the same way his mother did, using the same weapon to blast Granola through the stomach, much to the surprise of everyone present.
Y'all are
Granola
lying,
plummets
bro.
into the water
What the
below
hell?
as Alex says that was a long time coming. Gas then noting he lost interest
gonna
in
kill him?
fighting
They
Granola,
killed
so
him?
his pathetic death is of no concern. Goku grows angry at the sight of losing Granola, and suddenly, Vegeta grants Goku his last bit of energy, breaking him free from Gas's spell. Vegeta tells Goku to use his energy wisely and to defeat Gas once and for all, prompting Goku to silently agree. Gas begins to thank his brother for bestowing the honor of the strongest in the
Y'all weren't
universe to
lying.
him.
This is better
And
than
to
the
Yeah,
Morrow
thank
arc.
him,
this is-
Alex proposes Gas eliminate the remaining threats on the
I'm already
battlefield.
convinced.
As Gas turns to kill Goku and Vegeta though, he notices Goku in his perfected Super Saiyan blue form, free from his spell. Goku immediately takes off and delivers a kick
is
to Gas,
wild.
who lands on the ground impressed by the Saiyan's prowess. Angered, Goku attempts to gather himself and eventually calms down, telling Gas he's got no real reason to fight him and questions if he can leave planet Cereal. Gas inquires if Goku is upset about the death of Granola, to which Goku responds he is, but anger is an emotion that messes with his special move, so he'll have to control it. Alec then cuts in,
Okay.
stating that because the Saiyans know their plan, they can't allow them to escape, prompting Gas to unleash a spiked platform that comes down on Goku.
forgot he could
Goku
do
manages
that.
to avoid it, but Gas conjures 2 additional platforms like a wall to crush him, causing the Saiyan to struggle. Goku eventually breaks free, but is forced on the defensive by a barrage of more energy-based weaponry. Gas then uses
got this man
telekinesis to
Goku
hurl
running.
the debris of the nearby ruined city at Goku, culminated with a moving train as well. Goku lands on top of the train and Gas joins him, remarking that he was merely assessing his power and didn't assume such techniques would kill him. He then invites Goku to demonstrate his true power as the son of Bardock, prompting Goku to charge in. Goku responds with a flurry of attacks, but fails to land a hit. Gas, however, lands a punch to
Sheesh,
Goku's gut
this
and
is
questions the
intense.
Saiyan's determination,
On top of a
comparing
train is
it
crazy.
unfavorably to Bardock's. Goku is hit with another train thanks to Gas's telekinesis, and below, a weakened Vegeta wonders what Goku's doing. Amongst the lull in the battle, Gas states that when it came to combat, Bardock's resolve was like no other, but notes he doesn't sense the same from Goku. He questions if he's truly the son of the Saiyan, to
Oh,
which
that's
Goku
disrespectful.
responds he hit his head as a child, losing all memories of his father and the Saiyan race. Noting that Goku is one who can't comprehend who he really is, Gas vows that he won't fall to someone so pathetic and launches Goku into the water below, creating an opening to observe the Saiyan struggle to breathe. Gas toys with the idea of
What in the
suffocating
world?
Goku, but notes an easy victory wouldn't satisfy him. Goku manages to fire a blast, but Gas reflects Goku's counterattack,
Oh my God,
unleashing
I
a blast of
can't.
his own that creates a colossal explosion and blast in the lake, covering the heaters who watch from the sidelines. Goku recovers near them and catches his breath, wondering how he'll be able to defeat Gas. He notices that Gas
has
has
a
his
lot
eyes
of
fixated
abilities.
elsewhere though, coming to the realization that this is the reason everyone's been revived after a period of time. Goku then glances over and sees the unconscious Granola being healed by Manito, overjoyed that the Cerulean is still alive. This revelation surprises Vegeta and the others, as Gas asserts that Manito will have to die first.
Oh, no.
Gas
He's
launches
still
in and
alive.
prepares to kill the Namekian, but
Oh
Goku
my God.
catches him just in time and
Good
uses
shit.
instant transmission, warping them away to everyone's confusion. On an unknown planet, Jocko is seen shopping as the duo come
What
flying
the
in
Goku? Where the
patrol.
fuck you taking it?
Anywhere
Jocko,
but there.
glad that he was on a nearby planet, and Gas questions where they are, though
Jocko
Goku is
saving the
unsure
day.
himself. Goku, however, asserts that his instant transmission ability is superior to Gas's, honed over many years and isn't easy to master. In response, Gas attempts to attack Goku utilizing said technique, but Goku proves his point, moving out of the way until he's
Dang.
forced to block a kick from his enemy. The sheer magnitude of the impact blowing away Jocko as well as the planet's inhabitants. Goku challenges Gas to follow him wherever he goes and uses instant transmission to flee, prompting Gas to do the same, leaving behind a tattered area. Jocko sits in amazement, remarking on Goku's knack for finding formidable foes. Teleporting to an outpost of more galactic patrol members, Goku and Gas continue their
No,
fight.
this is
Despite
sick. He's
blocking
taking it in the
Gas's
different
kick,
areas
Goku
to
sustains
fight.
a
Different
bruise.
battle
Gas
zones.
Yep.
launches a barrage of kicks
That's
while
so
Goku
fire.
manages to block each one, and utilizing instant transmission, he teleports both
Again?
himself and Gas to a different location. Goku continues to showcase his superior control of the
Holy
technique, leading leading
shit.
Gas from one planet
This
to
is a
another,
movie.
and eventually behind a truck filled with waste that
I'm
dumps on him.
dead.
Goku mocks Gas, telling him he was warping recklessly and suggests cleaning up in a river nearby. But angered, the fighter rushes in with
pissing
a
him
punch
off.
as
On
he
purpose,
and Goku
yeah.
teleport
Trolling.
to the Galactic King's palace. Gas falls directly into the tub with the Galactic King as Goku continues to
Oh, he's
mock
playing
him,
with
much
him.
to his irritation. Back on planet Cereal, the Heaters and Vegeta question the location of Goku and Gas, who wind up at the Galactic Prison next. Goku slamming into one of the
is
cells,
cool.
courtesy of Gas. The two encounter past villains,
So
more
unique.
specifically the members of the Saganbo Bandit Brigade, who recognize Gas and tell him to break them out of jail and they'll help defeat Goku as well. Uninterested in their assistance though, Gas declines, prompting anger from Zoyogi, and Yunba reminisces on their first ever encounter with Gas, noting he
He
wet
wet
himself out of fear. Gas denies this as Yunba continues to tease him, Goku laughing along as the heater continues to grow irritated. The jokes persist, and a once collected
Oh,
Gas
shit.
yells out against the allegations, exclaiming that there were only a few drops of pee because he had to hold it in for a long
Ew.
time. While the remaining Heaters attempt to trace Gas's position, Goku questions Gas about his motives and blind loyalty to Elec. Gas attacks Goku while explaining his gratitude toward Elec for raising him to his current level of power, and intends to repay him by making the Heaters the supreme organization in the universe. Goku questions Gas's trust in his brother, pointing out that his own sibling tried to kill him in the past. Gas grows more irritated, and back on Cereal, Elec and the other Heaters decide to deal with the exhausted survivors before the conclusion of Goku and Gas's battle.
hell
As
no.
Goku continues to use instant transmission to dodge Gas's relentless attacks, he finds himself growing increasingly wary. He lands on a Galactic Patrol spaceship, noting he can't play defense much longer, but suddenly senses a familiar energy nearby and disappears, just as Gas teleports in
who?
to deliver a finishing blow. On a volcanic planet, Whis and the Oracle Fish are enjoying dessert
What are they
while
doing?
riding a giant dinosaur. Suddenly,
While
Goku
riding a
appears,
giant-
Of course
followed
they're eating.
shortly by Gas. Goku greets Whis, noting how lucky he was to sense his energy, and when Gas questions who this stranger is, Goku says he's his master, who also happens to be an angel. Revealing his strategy to leave Gas with Whis, Goku uses instant transmission to backtrack all the locations he visited,
Oh,
landing
that's
back on
sick.
planet Cereal moments before the Heaters can attack Monito. Questioning how Goku made it back to Cereal without Gas, Elec grows annoyed. On the far reaches of the universe with Whis, Gas attempts to use instant transmission as Goku did, but struggles as Whis explains the distance from
not
there
good
to
enough.
Cereal is too great to warp to directly.
Oh,
Angrily questioning the direction
wow.
of planet
That's why he did it
Cereal from their
backwards.
location,
That's sick.
Gas gets instructions from Whis, taking off at light speed to finish his battle with Goku.
He gave him
Whis jokes
instructions?
about Gas staying for a more leisurely visit, prompting confusion from the Oracle Fish on the stranger's identity, surprising Whis. Goku reunites
Gas
with the
needs some
others,
training.
having bought them some time before Gas returns. Oatmeal is also present, having activated a mobile android mode to assist. Spotting the group fleeing, Mackie questions Elec if they should unleash their inner natures like Gas did earlier, but Elec comments that they'd be no match for Goku and should retreat until Gas returns. In a hover car on the way to Monito's house, Goku spots a small communication device that Whis planted on him earlier. Whis
Oh,
warns
nice.
Goku that Gas is approaching and will arrive in 20 minutes Earth time.
Yeah, Goku-
This revelation
Whis is one of the
shocking the
bros.
group,
That's
as
Goku
Monito
left.
informs them that this isn't enough time to fully heal Granola.
my
Whis questions Goku's progress with Ultra Instinct, and Goku notes he isn't satisfied with it yet, being unable to fully calm his heart as Whis does.
Aw.
Whis tells him that as a fundamentally different life form, this is understandable, but repeats to Goku that it's up to him to discover his own unique version of the technique. Whis leaves Goku with one last piece of advice to listen to the voice within himself as he and the others arrive at Monito's house.
Dude, if Goku achieves another
Monito
fucking
reveals something to
transformation
Goku.
technique, I'm gonna
Bardock.
fucking
That's
cream
gonna be
myself.
Goku solemnly realizes that this object belonged to his real father, and attempting to bring life to the device, Vegeta notes that it's broken, but there's evidence
Vegeta
of
with the
saved
scouter,
audio.
such a throwback. Oh my god, we
Monito
haven't seen that in
suggests
God
if they
knows
play,
Oh my
when.
They
gosh.
might get an answer to how Bardock defeated Gas, prompting Oatmeal to take the scouter, stating he can access its circuitry directly and play the audio via his speakers. As Gas continues to furiously fly toward the
is
group
so
through
cool.
space, Mackie, tracking him, notices his speed with astonishment. Oatmeal powers up the scouter and begins to play the device's stored audio, Monito recognizing Bardock's voice, warning him to escape with Granola from the battle with Gas 40 years ago. He says he'll slow Gas down and tells them to stay alive, which awakens a deep, repressed memory within Goku of Bardock and his mother Gine telling him the
that's
same
from the
thing
movie.
as they sent him away from planet Vegeta before
gonna
its
cry.
destruction. The
You
shock of
remember
this
remembers that.
awakened memory ripples through Goku, and a sharp electric aura fires up around him. The scene then transitions to Bardock's battle with Gas 40 years ago. Bardock launches in and strikes Gas directly, sending him crashing into the forest below. However, unharmed, Gas thinks to himself that Bardock must be a Saiyan, noting his exponential strength, unlike the other Saiyans he'd heard were coming to planet Cereal. Bardock continues his assault, but Gas evades, launching a powerful ki attack at the Saiyan, who manages to deflect it. To Gas's surprise, Bardock delivers a blow to his gut and kicks him down to the forest.
This is in base form. He beating the hell out of this guy.
And notes
Fuck
that
Gas.
likely didn't finish him off. Landing near Monito, Bardock's message to stay alive is repeated, and getting a sudden reading on his scouter, Gas leaps from the forest, telling Bardock that he won't escape. Noticing the minimal damage done to Gas, Bardock ponders his next move, while Gas, considering Alec's instructions to end things quickly, remarks that playtime is over. Conjuring a mace for battle, Gas prepares himself for round 2. Monito, however, interjects before they get started, insisting Bardock has already done ample for them and he should seek safety. Gas, catching bits of the conversation, darkly predicts to Bardock that the Saiyan race's survival is tenuous, regardless of his actions. Having heard enough vague premonitions though, Bardock dismisses the idea of escape and engages Gas in battle. Gas leaps over a blast from Bardock and slams him overhead with his weapon. Bardock grabs the weapon though and tosses Gas into the air. Landing in the distance, Bardock tells Monito to leave while he can, as this is his fight now, and takes off to confront Gas. Exchanging blows, Gas exclaims that Bardock's attacks are nothing to him, unleashing a vicious beam of energy that overwhelms the Saiyan. As he collapses to the ground, Gas reveals that he can't afford to waste any more time and opts to unleash a bit of his inner nature, surprising Bardock. Simultaneously, Monito hastens to his home to collect the Dragon Balls of Cereal, intending to use them to aid Bardock, who persists in the fight despite his deteriorating state. Bardock realizes that Gas is capable of adjusting his power level, and the fighter boasts of the full extent of his power, questioning if Bardock has lost the will to fight. However, the Saiyan notes that nothing gets him more excited than battling a powerful foe, prompting anger from Gas, who kicks Bardock in the gut with intense force and knocks him away. Immediately rushing back to the battle, the Dragon God Toronbo is unknowingly summoned in the distance. Monito beseeches him to transport Bardock back to his homeworld, and in the midst of his battle, the Saiyan is contacted by the dragon regarding the proposition. Although initially confused on who's speaking to him, Bardock refuses the offer, stating he'd rather die than run from an enemy as he continues to attack Gas. Gas continues to dominate the battle, and in the lull of it, Monito persists in encouraging Bardock to save himself, but he refuses once more. Instead, Monito queries if there's an alternate wish that could be fulfilled for Bardock, who replies that he would wish for the prosperity of his children. Observing the battle and Dragon's radiance from afar, the other Heaters grow curious. When the Dragon Balls scatter, Alec opts to investigate, instructing Oil and Mackie to proceed to greet Frieza's incoming spaceship. Back at the battlefield, Gas continues to dominate Bardock, unleashing a lethal barrage of energy blasts at the Saiyan, all connecting as the surrounding area is destroyed. When the attack settles, Gas appears fatigued. He approaches the fallen Bardock, lifts him by the tail, and violently throws him to the ground, repeating the process until Bardock loses his tail. Gas tries to execute Bardock, generating an energy spear which he propels at the wounded Saiyan, but Monito intercepts it with a hit in the shoulder. Infuriated by the ceaseless interruptions, Gas lets his innate power fully take over. He forcefully strikes Bardock and Monito, sending the Namekian crashing into a rock as the Saiyan watches from the ground. Gas then seizes Bardock by the throat, declaring that he'll die here without having saved anyone. Yet again, Bardock refutes the notion of surrender and manages to counterattack, unleashing a blast that creates an enormous explosion. Amidst the smoke, Bardock gains the upper hand, delivering a flurry of devastating attacks to Gas and kicking him into the distance. Gas questions Bardock's motivation for persisting in a futile fight, asking if it's an act of atonement for his Saiyan misdeeds or a quest for vengeance, but Bardock denies both. Powering up more, the Saiyan halts a devastating attack from Gas, simply stating that he's striving for victory and nothing more. The combat dynamics shift as Bardock overpowers
Fam,
Gas.
Bardock
landing a
was
gut
built
punch and
different.
blasting him into the distance. Gas is left bewildered by Bardock's strength. Presume that other than their great ape form, Saiyans don't have any other ascended state. Bardock clarifies that his race has a unique capability to evolve every time they surpass their limits, and unwilling to accept the gap in power between them, Gas falls into a pit of rage. Bardock, however, interrupts this, continuing to dominate the battle and unleashes a potent energy blast, hitting Gas from afar and ends the battle. Out of
he
energy,
got cooked.
Bardock falls to the ground as Elec, having witnessed the conclusion of the battle, approaches an unconscious Gas, noting they'll need to double down on his training efforts. He then turns to Bardock, who's still alive, and the Saiyan questions Elec on his loyalty to Frieza. Though he provides a vague response, Elec changes the subject, mocking Bardock and the Saiyan race for unknowingly following Frieza, considering what he has planned for them soon. Elec then removes his weapon and shoots Bardock in the arm. The wounded Saiyan falls backward, tumbling off the cliff and into the forest
He
below.
shot Goku's
Mackie
dad
informs
too?
Elec that
Oh my
Frieza
God.
has arrived, and before departing, he blindly shoots into the forest, confident that Bardock won't survive given the damage he's received. After some time, Manito regains consciousness and reaches Bardock, both surprised that they're still alive. Bardock questions the safety of Granola, and upon confirming that he's okay, Manito compliments the Saiyan on his victorious battle. In the present, Goku, Vegeta, and Manito are left in a state of shock
So
as the
wholesome.
recording from Bardock's scouter ends,
Imagine
while
Goku,
Granola lies
like-
unconscious, recovering.
He knows how
Goku,
good
remembering
his
more
dad
about his
was.
parents, realizes that Bardock's return to planet Vegeta after battling Gas was one of the main reasons he and Gine decided to send him away as a baby. Goku finally understands the true meaning of Saiyan pride and admits that he's been feeling a loss of confidence in his own power. Vegeta shares a similar sentiment, understanding that he's lost sight of his own Saiyan pride,
God,
which
I
he's
love
burdened
him.
himself with for so long due to his fixation on making amends for his past wrongdoing. Somewhat irritated, Vegeta acknowledges that his realization was led by Goku's father. He also recognizes, much to his annoyance, that Goku and Raditz's survival and growth into adulthood were partly due to the wish made by Bardock with the Dragon Balls. As Goku and Vegeta engage in a trivial argument over Vegeta's gentle treatment over his daughter, Manito ponders over Bardock's legacy, understanding that the pride of
That's
any
so
race
cool,
or
bro.
tribe comes from
I love that they're showing love to Goku's dad, man.
So is it?
Beautiful.
So is Goku really that powerful, or is it because of the wish?
He is that powerful.
He is that powerful,
He's
right?
been training. Yeah,
in
he
their
is that
true
powerful. He
nature
worked for
and
it.
standing firm in their beliefs. Manito offers to further heal Goku and Vegeta and provides them with
This
battle
armor!
armor similar to Bardock's.
No,
However,
okay.
the two decide to fight in their
That's
regular
it.
clothes. Meanwhile, Gas,
Best arc.
who'd been
This is
flying
1,000
through space
just for
after being
that.
left
This is
behind
awesome.
by Goku, finally manages to teleport outside Manito's house as he comes within range of instant transmission. Noticing their brother's return to the planet, Elec instructs the other Heaters to move their ship to a safer distance and watch the battle. Goku and Vegeta, rejuvenated by their newfound determination, stands before Gas, who assumed they would have run off by now. Gas vows to slaughter the two and prepare to defeat this enemy even if it kills him. Vegeta and Goku decide to fight together as their energy builds, though the
Yeah.
Get
rivalry
it.
still compels them to compete in landing the finishing blow to Gas. They both transform into their perfected
Oh
Ultra
my-
Instinct and Ultra Ego
Sick.
forms respectively.
God, I love
Their
that.
auras
Sick.
swirling into a raging inferno of destruction and the power of the angels. Gas
Go.
questions if the two intend to face him together, stating that the Saiyans are as mindless as ever, as they still can't comprehend the gulf in their power. Goku, however, tells Gas he's the one who doesn't understand, prompting Vegeta to state that their final battle has nothing to do with their odds of victory, but the sheer desire to win. The two then charge at Gas, delivering
get 'em,
simultaneous
boys.
blows to both sides. However, Gas is unimpressed by their power, noting that this is about what he expected from the duo. Goku and Vegeta put their combo moves to use as they try to attack Gas, but initially their attacks fail to land. Goku, however, ascends to the air and exchanges blows, prompting Vegeta to join in and do the same, triggering a hint of struggle missile from Gas.
Oh, they're going
Catching
at it.
Vegeta's fist, Gas redirects it and sends him to the ground, followed by Goku shortly after. The Saiyans' resolve keeps them trained on Gas though, as they continue to combine attacks and pursue him. Landing, Gas unleashes a powerful energy wave that the duo dodges, responding in kind with their own Kamehameha and Gallic gun, but Gas teleports before impact. The heater smashes Vegeta to the ground with a key manipulated mace and tries the same with Goku, but the Saiyan's Ultra Instinct prevents this, triggering Gas, who kicks Goku to the ground, crushing his stomach. Warning them not to get cocky, Gas is interrupted when Vegeta whips up a destruction sphere capable of erasing mortals, launching it at Gas as Goku uses instant transmission to move out of the way. Confident that he can deflect the attack, Gas conjures a shield and blocks the sphere, but Goku, appearing next to Vegeta, assists him in pushing the heater back as his weapon fades in the power of destruction. Watching close by, Maki and Oil worry about their brother's
Gas
safety.
is getting cooked.
Ellen, confident, asserts that Gas will be fine given the wish to become the strongest came after Goku and Vegeta's ascended states, making him unbeatable. Gas musters more of his power to push the destruction sphere back at the Saiyan duo, who note that a continued struggle is no use. In response, Vegeta takes the opportunity to leave Goku to fend off the attack and charges toward Gas, promptly receiving a devastating gut kick and punches that follow, being knocked into a boulder. Mocking the Saiyan Prince, Gas questions if he thinks he can win as he prepares a finishing blow, and Goku, meanwhile, still struggles with the sphere of destruction. Determined to protect the city he nearly comes in contact with, Goku manages to fling the sphere into space and uses instant transmission to assist Vegeta. Vegeta, however, is in mid-battle with Gas and lands a clean hit to his face, surprising Goku as the heater questions how the Saiyan is still moving. Wiping blood from his face, Vegeta asserts that damage is nothing to him but fuel, alluding that he's only becoming stronger, much to Gas's anger. Vegeta questions what Gas will do faced with this dilemma, and in response, the heater initiates a relentless assault ending in a blow to Vegeta's gut, asserting that he'll kill him in one blow and be done with this. Goku readies himself to intervene, but Vegeta rises once more, landing a punch to Gas's gut that leaves him winded, Vegeta thanking him for the prime fuel. Gas continues to pummel Vegeta, utilizing the instant transmission technique to teleport him to the surrounding areas on Serial and deliver blows when he reappears. The Saiyan continues to take a beating as Goku rushes in to help, but Vegeta commands him to stay back, much to his confusion. Catching his breath, Vegeta asserts that his Ultra Ego is continuing to evolve, but questions Goku's Ultra Instinct and tells him to figure it out fast. In the meantime,
Vegeta's cooking.
Let him have this.
Of attacks on Gas, while Goku, aiming to discover his own version of Ultra Instinct, reverts to base form and summons a meditative barrier. Vegeta continues his attacks.
Oh, he's doing his best Jiren impression.
Jiren, yep. Asserting he ceased his pointless struggle. Vegeta, though, severely wounded with his left eye swelled, declares he isn't done yet, much to the surprise of Maki and the others. Gas lands powerful punches to Vegeta's ribs, aiming to topple him, and follows up with a severe uppercut to the chin, landing Vegeta head first on the ground. A silence falls on the battlefield as Gas asserts he won't be standing again, but determined, Vegeta glares at his enemy with fire in his eyes, much to the shock of Gas. Vegeta rises to his feet once more, asserting he's no longer bound by limits and charges in. However, when a scared Gas blocks and opens his eyes, the Saiyan Prince stands before him, unconscious, as he falls to the ground, defeated. Regaining confidence, Gas mocks Vegeta for resorting to a technique that requires him to receive damage and prepares to finish him off, conjuring a sword to finally end his life. However, as Gas moves to land the killing blow, his sword breaks along the edge of a force field, now surrounding Vegeta. Much to his surprise, Goku, completing his meditation, has saved Vegeta, moving him to his location as Gas unleashes a barrage of ki blasts at Goku. When the dust settles, Goku is unharmed, dropping his barrier to confront Gas and asserts this final move will be his only option, so he might as well try it out. Gas notes that despite Goku's impending death, he somehow remains carefree, prompting agreement from Goku, who points out that's how he's always been. Goku then begins to power up as Gas questions what form he'll pull out next. Goku responding that he's finally figured out the best way to make use of his own power. He then unleashes a massive surge of energy, revealing his true Ultra Instinct. Perplexed, Gas believes Goku's silver hair form was his ultimate power, but Goku explains that his perfected Ultra Instinct form requires tranquility and calmness, but in this form, he
shit.
can utilize his current emotions more
Oh,
effectively.
that's
He admits
sick.
that his heart is no longer calm, and reminded of Bardock, Gas charges at Goku in a fit of rage. However, Goku holds the upper hand in the ensuing clash, landing
Y'all,
a serious
this is-
punch to Gas's face unlike any
my
previous
fucking
attempt,
God.
causing an explosion that blows the heater's ship out of the sky. Goku relentlessly pursues Gas in his advantageous state, utilizing instant transmission to kick him into the air and unleashing a Kamehameha that explodes on impact. Fearful, Gas wonders what's going on as Goku states he's just barely stronger than him now, opting to finish the battle quickly as he charges in once more. The fighters exchange
Those
blows
Dragon
with
Balls
Gas
ain't
on
gonna
the
help.
defensive, Goku snapping the horns on his face as Gas
Damn.
attempts to retaliate.
You ain't good enough,
However,
Gas.
Goku unleashes an erratic beam of energy from his mouth, surprising
What?
Vegeta
That's
on the
some Saiyan
sidelines,
shit.
who
What?
jokes
From his
about
mouth?
this version of Ultra Instinct. Growing increasingly frustrated at the thought of sacrificing his pride just to lose, Gas summons a flurry of ki-induced weapons to launch at Goku, but the latter effortlessly moves around them to be met with a wrecking ball flying toward him. Goku,
It
however,
don't matter,
grabs the chain
baby.
of said ball and hurls it back at Gas, taking advantage of his opening to deliver a devastating kick to his
Bodied.
chest, sending him flying across planet
Bodied.
Cereal. As Gas struggles to recover, Elec approaches him, expressing his disappointment and reminding Gas that the Saiyans are merely a stepping stone toward their ultimate goal, which is defeating Frieza. Goku tells Elec that he doesn't need to force Gas to continue the battle, as he's ready for a fight anytime. However, Elec insists that there won't be a next time for Gas. Suddenly, a massive surge of energy emanates from Gas,
What?
who rises to his feet, now significantly aged. As Goku marvels at the heater's exponential energy growth,
What
Gas
happened?
uses telekinetic abilities to strangle him. However,
What the
Goku
fuck?
escapes by using instant transmission and tries to counterattack, only to be swatted away nonchalantly by Gas.
This is-
Gas then appears behind Goku, reveling in his
It
newfound
just
power,
keeps, like- It
keeps
describing
going
a
up.
sensation
Going up.
as if
And ramping
every
up.
cell in his body is set ablaze, fueling him even further. He grabs Goku by the head and hurls him into the cerulean forest, ensnaring him in a whirlwind and landing multiple ki blasts before letting him drop
Gas
to the
is
ground.
tweaking,
Gas
man.
lifts Goku up and relentlessly pummels him with colossal spectral fists and boots made of ki.
Jeez.
On the sidelines, Oil and Maki question their brother's aged appearance, but Elec is concerned more with his power, noting that Gas is stronger than ever before. Gas and Goku launch toward each other to continue their battle, but suddenly a blast intervenes, originating from Granola.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's
recovered
back.
enough
Thank God.
to join
He's
the
back.
battle. This observation annoys Elec, and much to Gas's astonishment, Granola rushes in and knocks Goku down. Taking the advantage of the battle dust, Granola, having heard Bardock's recording on the scouter during his dream, questions Goku on if he's ready to stake everything on his power. The smoke then dissipates, revealing Granola and Goku ready to finish the battle. As
shit.
Granola begins to amass energy for a blast, Goku assures him he'll try to hold off Gas as long as possible. Gas charges in, and although Goku manages to land a formidable kick to the enemy, he's quickly taken down again. Observing Granola's accumulating
size 12
energy,
on here.
Gas turns his attention toward him. Goku, however, shields him with a ki barrier as a blast comes hurtling in,
So
the
cool.
Saiyan noting that nobody's giving up and taking Gas down. Gas, growing increasingly irate, bombards Goku with a barrage of energy blasts, effectively knocking him out as the barrier diminishes. Things take a turn for the worst until Vegeta, despite his
Oh, there you
injuries,
go.
intervenes
Everyone
needs
and
to come
urges
in.
Granola
Saiyan
to
Prince.
hurry. As Maki and Oil attempt to assist their brother, Minato steps in and uses hypnosis to put the two to
Yeah.
sleep, ridiculing them for underestimating him. Once Granola's gathered enough energy for his attack, Gas tries to charge at him once more. However, Goku awakens, manifesting his giant spectral form from his battle with
Holy
Moro. In
shit.
an instant, he grabs Gas and hurls
Oh,
him to
that's
the planet's
fire.
edge. Granola's vision,
The same
still
thing he did to
impaired,
Moro.
struggles
That's
to target
fire.
an opponent at such a distance accurately. However, with Oatmeal's assistance and everyone's plea to fire, he releases the attack and hits Gas directly, causing an
Holy
explosion that
fuck.
shakes the entire planet. Maki and Oil wake up after the battle's end, and in the distance, Gas plummets to the ground, defeated. However, Granola informs his siblings that he didn't kill Gas, as he
What?
no
Kill
longer
him?
harbors a desire for
doing?
revenge. He informs the
him.
heaters that Gas will be unconscious for the next few days, orders them to take him away and never return to planet Cereal. As the two
him.
rush
Yeah, y'all are
off,
tripping, leaving
Granola
him alive.
apologizes to Goku and Vegeta for his previous actions, as Gas lies in a crater motionless. Goku and Vegeta reflect over the need to continue their training as it wasn't enough, and and suddenly, Granola collapses to his knees, coughing up blood. Convinced that the assault has further shortened his lifespan, the Cerulean reveals that he only has 3 years left to live, noting the price he had to pay to become the strongest in the universe. Vegeta assumes the same stipulation for Gas, though he isn't sure how long he's got left, and Manito approaches, aiming to heal Granola's wounds. To his surprise, Manito finds that his powers have matured, enabling him to restore Granola to full strength.
Dang,
as
so
well as
everyone
Goku
got
and
a
Vegeta.
XP this
Meanwhile,
fucking
Elec plans
fight.
to withdraw,
They leveled
annoyed
up.
that his wish for Gas turned out to be a complete failure. When questioned by Goku if he plans to leave his family behind, Elec confirms, but suddenly, a fatal beam of light pierces Manito's chest from behind, much to the shock of everyone present. It was Gas who'd struck the blow.
He's still
appearing
alive?
more aged than ever.
Bro's a
taunting Granola
fucking
on his
corpse.
aversion to revenge. Granola rushes to his friend's aid, and Goku and Vegeta transform to true Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, entering the battle once more. Gas immediately uses telekinesis to slam the two together, but the Saiyans recover and deliver blows of their own. Decaying as he takes damage, Gas unleashes a colossal energy blast at Goku and Vegeta, who manage to block the impact. However, with the attack still ensuing, Gas charges through the beam at light
He's
speed
just
and kicks
Why?
the
put his
Saiyans
stinky
in the
ass
face,
feet on their
sending them
face.
flying
Nasty ass
backwards. As
pose.
Goku notes the confusion of Gas flying through his own attack, Vegeta notes the battle is akin to fighting something that's already dead. On the sidelines,
Oh my
Granola
God,
tends
this
to
is
Manito,
terrible.
but the latter accepts his fate given his situation, as Granola fights to keep him alive. Witnessing the battle, Elec urges Gas to eliminate their enemies before he succumbs to his imminent demise. Maki intervenes, suggesting a retreat and another attempt at battle later, but in a shocking
smacked
turn,
her.
Elec slaps her and dismisses the idea, revealing that Gas's enhanced strength came at the cost of sacrificing much of his brother's life. Pausing mid-battle, this revelation stuns both Gas and their adversaries. Gas, horrified by the realization of his impending death, gazes at his decaying face in shock. However,
messed up.
Elec
His brother's fucked up
unremorsefully
for that.
instructs his brother to brace himself for the inevitable arrival, making himself useful to him in his last moments before it's too late. At that moment, Frieza himself arrives
What
on
the
the
wait?
planet.
My
He
God!
greets Gas, prompting a mix of fear and anger within him. The fighter powers up and declares his intention to kill Frieza, but despite charging in at breakneck speed, the tyrant effortlessly
What the
penetrates his
fuck,
gut,
Frieza?
ending
How?
his resistance. The remainder of Gas's lifespan ends, and the latter completely fades away and collapses.
How did he do that?
Frieza proceeding to crush the Heater's skull, scaring Elec. Frieza questions Elec on why he contacted him to come to planet Cereal, threatening him with death should it be a waste of time. Elec states that there was a bit of miscommunication, but Frieza deduces his master plan, declaring that he meant to have Gas eliminate him. Pointing out
Yeah,
Gas's
Frieza.
dust floating in the wind, Frieza quickly appears in front of Elec, telling him that he's been aware of his intentions for the past 40 years, but let him live
Been
to
you.
exploit him for his army's benefit.
Oh my
Shocked
God.
that the tyrant knew all along, Frieza reveals that there's nothing in the universe he isn't privy to. Even the fact that the weakest among the Heaters is Elec.
Don't-
Having heard enough, Elec attempts to attack Frieza,
Don't
but
keep
Frieza
information from him.
effortlessly halts his punch and eviscerates him. In
Damn,
mere moments,
Frieza, what the
instilling
fuck?
fear
That
in
gives
the
me
remaining
chills.
Heaters.
Oh my
Turning
God, my
to Goku
goat.
and Vegeta,
Frieza
Frieza
saving the
casually
day?
greets them. The Saiyan duo demands an explanation for Frieza's victory over Gas, Vegeta noting that he was wished to be the strongest in the universe, so Frieza shouldn't have stood a chance. Frieza, however, reveals a shocking truth, asserting that he's been spending time in another dimension where time flows differently than the outside.
What?
Excuse me?
He's been in the time chamber.
Another dimension? So therefore that
Oh
wish
my
didn't
God.
apply to him. So he's stronger. What?
World, similar to the hyperbolic time chamber. There,
Yeah.
he was able to squeeze in 10 years worth of training, shocking
10?
both Goku.
The fuck?
They're gonna
The
want to go.
tyrant notes that he couldn't keep losing to Saiyans his entire life, and transforms into a new form, which he
What?
What
as
is going
Black
on?
Frieza. Without hesitation,
Hold on,
he
go-
shifts
what?
into a tyrant notes that he couldn't keep losing to Saiyans his entire life, and transforms into a new form, which he dons as Black Frieza. Without
Black
hesitation,
Frieza? That's kinda
he
racist, but
charges
what
in
the
as
fuck?
Saiyan's power up to their strongest forms, landing a single blow that effortlessly defeats
Oh,
Goku
he looks
and
so
Vegeta.
cool.
As the Saiyans
Yo,
sit in pain,
what?
Frieza suggests that being in another dimension allowed him to surpass them, having achieved satisfaction from their defeat and stating that he didn't come to kill them today. Frieza decides to spare Goku and Vegeta and departs. However, he notices the cowering Oil and Maki, offering them a place in his army as servants. Fearful of meeting the same fate as their fallen siblings, Oil and Maki agree to follow Frieza to his departing ship. Just like that, the trio leave as Goku and Vegeta
I
recover,
am
approach
shocked.
Manito and Granola. The latter notes that Manito stopped breathing, but suddenly a wave of light emanates from him and he rises instant. This was due to Whis' intervention, granting a one-time favor to Goku by restoring Manito. Manito, confused, wonders who Whis is and learns that he's an angel. Whis then urges Goku and Vegeta to join him as Beerus is struggling and making instant yakisoba. Goku invites Granola to Beerus for training, but he declines, opting to use the Dragon Balls to repair the damage on Cereal. Vegeta then hands Granola the Dragon Radar that Maki dropped, explaining its use, and Manito gives Goku his father's Scouter, as the Saiyan sees the reflection of his kin before departing. Vegeta invites Granola to visit Earth if he ever wants to do battle with a Saiyan again, and confident he'll win any time. Goku, Vegeta, and Whis bid farewell. On their way back, Goku questions Whis on if the strongest being in the universe mentioned by the Oracle Fish is Frieza, to which Whis responds that it could be Frieza, or perhaps another emerging force in the universe. And so, Goku and Vegeta's battle to the death with gas ended in an abrupt loss to Frieza, with Goku now aware of the massive gap in power between him and his foe. However, Vegeta is also aware of this, and the two continue their training on Beerus' planet in hopes of defeating Frieza. The Granola arc gets mixed reviews between Dragon Ball fans, but personally, I think it was a pretty good story in Dragon Ball Super, despite its flaws.
Chat, I ain't gonna lie.
Let's just do a little.
Let's do a clap. I think you guys are right.
Oh, man.
This is better than the Morrow arc. Is there another arc after this? Or no? 2 more? Fam.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Frieza stole the fucking show.
My GOAT. And I said it to this day. Frieza's the best Dragon Ball villain.
You're telling me.
Even if technically, well, yeah, he's still a villain, but like, he let them go easy. But like, they're good now. But you guys, like,
bro, he could have killed them right there.
He could have killed them.
He could have killed them. I wasn't expecting Frieza to come out of nowhere.
Frieza,
with the new transformation.
and especially in the last couple of minutes.
He one-shot Gas. How do you one-shot Gas? Gas was the strongest in that universe, and Frieza's like, nope, I spent 10 years training somewhere else. Now look at me. I'm Black Frieza. It's over. Fuck y'all.
That was so good.
Wow, bro. Y'all were not lying.
Good. You guys did not lie. That was amazing.
Perfected Ultra Instinct.
When we thought that we had already had the perfected version.
Yep. Dude, I just can't believe this shit. Like, and we also now have a new, I guess, is he part of the Z Fighters, Granola? Hopefully he is.
He's so cool.
Granola's a cool character. Like, him using his fingers to shoot a key blast and stuff. Perfect. Superhero manga has more to the story. Oh, then we'll read that next. Yeah, we'll watch that next. Next, our superhero arc and a prequel to it. Yeah, then we'll watch those next. How you guys feel about Black Frieza? Fam, that shit look fucking cold. It looks better than Golden Frieza. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah.
He went crazy with that form. It looks cleaner. It looks cleaner, sleek. And you know what?
He just showed up.
Killed Gas like nothing, and then said, "All right, I'm gonna recruit you guys. Come on, come with me."
And everything just like incorporating Goku's dad. Oh my god, like it.
Beautiful storytelling.
It really hit my heart. Like it was.
Vegeta getting some shine, Ultra Ego.
Oh my god, Ultra Ego.
That shit is such a nice form. And the fact that they incorporated that, you know how Dragon Ball fans are. They're like, oh, Vegeta always gets his ass kicked in these fights. They incorporated that into the form. The more he gets hit, the more powerful he gets. Amazing. Love it. Vegeta was worried in a Broly movie about Frieza achieving a new form, remember? Yeah, we remember that. And there you go. He just did it. This arc made me like Bardock more even when I read it. Yeah. Such a good guy, man. Such a hero.
Literally.
And then striving for Goku, for his kids to,
and it just like all connects. I just love it. I love that.
Yeah, I wish Raditz wasn't wasted in the first couple of episodes of DBZ. 1000%. I feel like Raditz should have not been killed. Maybe become one of the good guys as well with Vegeta.
That would have been really interesting. Ultra Ego's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, that shit is beautiful.
That was
such
so
a nice
satisfying.
form.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Beerus's colors because he's like a purple cat with the purple hair. A god.
True. Yes.
Nice. I like how he caught it on the scar on Bardock's face. Yeah. I'm like, that's Bardock because he's the only one that I remember with the scar on his face.
That's awesome.
Saiyan Squad and Orange Piccolo. Yup. Maybe Gohan is the strongest now, post-superhero? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Frieza's the strongest in the whole verse. And who knows who the fuck he's going to recruit. Yeah, I think it's Gohan.
Gohan?
Is it confirmed that Gohan's the strongest?
Because this was before
Superhero.
Right?
Oh, it's Gohan. Okay. But that form is so sick, dude. That Frieza form has me shit.
Answers. When will this come out?
Yeah.
Please, someone, please tell me.
Dude.
I need it to come out already.
Dude.
I need we need to read.
Yeah, we need to read this 1000%. We've never seen Gohan's beast form at his fullest. He barely uses power. That's true. We only saw it in a movie for a bit, and he killed Cell Max. It's crazy.
We're gonna have to go to Barnes and Noble and buy like
the manga. Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 more things left.
And then it's just done.
It's just done. We're just waiting for it to come out.
And then what's after Dragon Ball Super?
I mean, that's it. There's nothing else.
What do you mean there's nothing else?